Okay.
All
Okay.
right, welcome to the Fit Family Lifestyle Podcast. We're back.
You need to scoot towards me a little bit.
And-
Or I need to scoot towards you. Yeah, look how crowded you are. Right off the rip.
All right, we are here with the lovely AM and our special guest, the one and only Austin Harvey from Player One Productions. He's the mastermind behind this whole
The whole
operation
setup.
here. And so he said, because I'm on today, we're having the cool background.
Yeah. I get tired of your black.
Just you don't like the black curtains?
No, I do like the black, but I like color.
Yeah.
I should put a light back there too. Usually I put the light back there because it gives you depth.
So
Let's
Quick-
talk about
quick-
what we're wearing.
let's talk about what we're wearing. So quick announcement for those of you who are part of our community, part of my fitness group. You know that we've been talking about this amazing company called Bfit Amazing. It's like B and then a / and then Fit Amazing, and they have some incredible activewear.
Ooh, can
We'll
you
have
stand
the
on top of
lovely-
your chair?
The lovely
Yeah.
AM
Oh,
model the
careful.
activewear for us. I got it. I got you.
Oh.
You got
I
me?
got you.
We barely started drinking. Oh, you're going to get a nice ass shot.
I always.
Oh, just spin the
Yeah.
chair. You don't even have to spin. Just spin the chair. Oh, yeah.
So,
So-
there you go.
The only thing better than working out is looking great while you're doing it. So
Lifting the cheeks.
if
Lifting the
you
cheeks.
are looking for some good activewear, they have stuff for men, they have stuff for women, they have everything, and
It's
really
very
quality.
supportive and really cute. And this is a workout top that I would wear out to the club.
You
Not
would wear,
right
you would
after
wear it
I
to the
worked
club?
out.
She
you
goes
know.
to the club all the time.
How
Yeah,
often?
'cause
Yeah,
I-
how often do you go
go
to the club?
I go to the karaoke bar like once every 3 months.
That's the club.
That's not the club. Anyways,
Just
That's
asking,
my
I'm
club.
asking for a
looking
friend.
good during,
I'm asking
working
for a
out.
friend.
It's always good.
That's my club.
Use the link in the description, and then use code CASEYDARK, all caps, CASEYDARK. There is no E in my last name, contrary to what Facebook believes.
Right.
CASEYDARK,
It's kind of
use
racist.
that code at checkout. I mean, you can take it up with Zuckerberg.
We're starting it right off the rip with it's. That's good. Let's talk about how not racist or how
It's going to be
racist.
a long night. ladies
Let's
and
talk
gentlemen.
about how racist it is that you can't have your last name Dark.
No, they
on
let me
Facebook.
have dark, but it has an E at the end.
So
Well, no,
it's
they won't let you.
discriminatory.
It won't let you do DARK.
It's discriminatory against people that have an E at the end of their name.
My father is on. Oh, I guess. Okay.
What if your last name was Hard with an E? Serious question. Do you think they would let you?
Link in the description. Bfit Amazing.
What's
30% off.
What's weird
Get
is
your clothes.
what's weird is that Dark seems like more of a spammy name than Dark with an E does. So why would they block? Oh no, it makes you have to have an E. Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of
it's
it
making
backwards.
me.
Okay.
It won't let me just put my last name as dark.
Oh, really?
They
You
let
think
her
that's
do
a
it.
spammy sounding name? Have you seen some of these names on
Well,
Facebook?
no, but it is more than with an E.
Yeah,
Like, you can't be like Dark Banana.
right.
They probably
You
wouldn't let
can't-
you do that
you
because
can't be
banana's
something
not a name.
ridiculous. That's
Or it's
not
more of a
name.
description than a name.
But what I don't get is how does the algorithm not realize that like my father, my cousin, my wife, all with the last name DARK.
They all have it on there?
Yeah.
Well, no, mine's not DARK, but his stepmom is. Really, he had a DARK Facebook also before they, I know, right? Before they made this rule and came up with this nonsense. But then his Facebook was canceled because of some stuff with
Oh,
Right, it was
so I wonder
canceled
if that's
too.
why, not so much that it's just dark, but if it's
because
because
it's
it's connected.
CASEYDARK, it's connected to the old
other
one.
one,
They
yeah.
wouldn't let me create.
Because it
no,
probably
no,
already
because when we
exists.
got married, I tried to put in dark and it wouldn't let me. It said that it was it had to be a real name. So they had it just as my first name and my middle name, Anna Maria Violetta. But they wouldn't let me put dark. So I put dark in parentheses.
So somebody Google why you can't have the words Dark as your last name. We'll wait.
Oh, wait.
Oh, don't.
We'll wait here.
Uh-oh.
But anyway. So your clothes, How come you didn't get any clothes? How come you just got her clothes?
Because I had already bought a bunch of stuff from somewhere else, but they do have some cool shorts that
I don't think I've ever seen you wear like a long sleeve shirt.
No, you haven't.
Do you always only wear like cut off shirts?
This
isn't even cut off. This is like the whole side is missing.
I own very few shirts that have.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just curious.
You own very few shirts that have.
I own a lot, but it's too hot here to wear them.
Right.
Which was like one of the reasons I told myself that I wanted to move somewhere where I didn't have to wear pants ever. And I think I could pull that off. It'd probably get cold.
It gets pretty cold in the winter.
I like being cold.
Yeah, you can get away with shorts in New Mexico almost year round. Almost year round. If you have a good sweatshirt,
Some guys
you're
do.
good. You're good.
Yeah.
I could probably pull it off. I have hairy enough legs. I could probably get away with it.
You just hit that tanning bed once every week.
Get that tanning bed.
Oh
So
my gosh.
those of you who don't know, we have a membership at Planet Fitness, and I typically go to a different gym, but every now and then I'll go to Planet Fitness with her to work out.
I'm a guest on there, so he really goes for me if I have time off for a weekend or
right. So they have tanning beds, and it was like I want to say like March. No, it
wasn't that long.
It was around May, I think.
It might have been
April
early
or
May.
And I was like, I know the weather's getting warm. I want to wear shorts, but I don't want to scare people with my ghost-like legs. So I'm already paying for this gym. Why don't I use the tanning beds? I might as well. So
wait. Was this the first time you ever used a tanning bed?
Ever. I have never, ever gone in a tanning bed. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use the tanning bed. What do I do? And they were like, well, you got to get the goggles. You got to get the little things that,
Yeah. I mean, I've never used a tanning bed, so I don't actually know.
And I said, we got this one booth that has brand new bulbs in it. And I was like, well, how long do I need to stay in there? And they were like, oh, you could be in there between, up to 9 minutes.
Not with the new bulbs.
Not 9:01.
They said the one with the new bulbs don't go past 5 minutes.
I'm curious how much.
So you knew that you weren't going into the one with the new bulbs, so you estimated, okay, well, no more than 5 minutes for the new bulb one. So this regular one, I'm going to do 5 minutes.
Well, you could do as much as 9. I'll do 5. Oh my God, I looked like I was dipped in Kool-Aid.
You looked like one of the cherries that Jen is up there harvesting right now. But why? I'm curious, like, what the difference in the bulbs make, because you would think it's still like the same power, right? Like they're using the same power. Is it like
if they're new bulbs?
I guess
then
just
it's
over
power.
time they lose their
what? They're still drawing in the same amount of power. Maybe it's like they get dirty or something and it clogs up like the output.
Maybe. But I don't care if it was
UV
new
lights
bulbs or
get
old,
and
I don't know shit about. Do you see how high that mic is? It's like
is it too high?
Look right there.
Okay.
You see how it's blocking your? Well, now it's not. But
there
you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Tanning bed was a mistake.
So tanning bed was a mistake. Had I just done it for like a couple, because I figured.
Had you just gone outside? We live in New Mexico,
but
and
it was still cold
sunshine.
Outside.
Like
it was still like.
Doesn't matter if it's cold. Sun's out, guns out. Sun's
yeah,
out.
I wanted the guns out, but I wanted like that nice golden tan.
Look at how tan I am. It's just from being outside, buddy.
Right. No tanning beds for you.
What I was gonna say though is New Mexico has like 340 days of sunshine a year.
Yes, and I've lived here my whole
You
life.
just lay outside with your balls out.
Not in the
with your
middle
balls
of
out.
May when it's still kind of cold.
I don't know what to tell you.
So yeah, long story short, worst sunburn, chemical burn, tanning bed burn of my life. It was awful. 10 out of 10 would not recommend.
What? Why were we talking about that?
You were talking about my awesome shirt.
Oh.
You were talking about.
Oh, I wanted to see some of the men's clothing. That's why. Oh, that's why. Because I was asking you.
Right.
If they made
So
men's
yeah,
clothing.
no, they have
Men's
awesome
clothing.
men's clothes too. They've got.
Do they have
athletic
cutoff shirts?
They've got cutoff shirts. They've got.
Do they have
the
non-cutoff
shorts
shirts?
with the inner built-in kind of like underwear
Pockets.
thing. They do have not. They have the long sleeve shirts. They have rash guards.
Yeah.
The like workout shirts that or shorts that have like the inside pockets are weird to me.
Really?
It's like boxers on the outside.
Right.
It's like
I
if
have a
you.
dress like that.
It's
That
like
has
wearing-
shorts
You had-
underneath with a pocket.
It's
Wait,
like,
you had
it's
a
like
dress-
wearing long briefs and short shorts.
Yeah. Why? But why?
Because
What is the? Is it like a style thing or is it just a?
It's.
Does it?
just-
Have you ever
it's-
actually worn
honestly,
those
it's
when you
actually
work
I
out?
have like 3 pairs.
Do they make a difference?
Well, I think the
Support.
point of it is to draw attention to your quad.
No.
Oh.
It's to support the boys.
And support, no, but it's also to draw
Does it
attention
lock
to
in
your
the
quad.
boys? So like if you're doing jumping jacks, they're not.
No more than any other pair of briefs.
This is the sound. Oh, what's this? This is Arabic. I love Arabic. Hello, Mr. Arabic. So basically what you're saying is workout shorts are made to hold your banana in your butt crack?
No, is someone like legitimately commenting
It's
in Arabic?
spamming.
It's spamming.
Oh, wait, there is a sticker on my mouth. That's not
Well,
supposed to be there. That's why I can't game.
Well, I think that's cool that someone's joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Not anymore.
So basically,
That's
the
not
moral of this story is that those shorts exist to hold your junk in place.
Yes.
No. I think the shorts are there, legitimate. Because think about it, they're on the outside of like.
The
it looks
fabric
like-
goes longer
Right,
underneath.
it goes longer. And I
Yeah.
think the point of that is because if you see like really fit men who are wearing those shorts, it draws attention to that part right above the kneecap where you see all that definition of the quad. It draws attention to it like, hey, what's that hanging out of his shorts? Oh, it's his giant quad.
It's not
Like
as
the
giant.
fabric on the back of my shorts that we just saw that draws attention to the cheeks.
right.
Oh,
it's-
like
it's
tucks
the-
up
the
underneath.
lifting, the
Yes,
lifting.
it's the pattern that kind of like outlines the cheekage.
So they're straight cosmetic. There's no benefit to wearing them when you work out.
Not that I'm aware.
So
The
basketball
ones
shorts.
that I'm
Not at all.
wearing, there is definitely pros to.
Do they hold your
wearing
junk in place?
Yes.
You
I have different junk than you do, but yes.
Never mind. We're not going to go down that road. Anyway.
No, everything is held in place, and my booty is nice and supported. So
Is your booty not supported when you're not wearing those shorts?
it's not.
You're like,
It's not.
I got a saggy booty unless
A
you
little
wear.
bit.
There's hit that for the soundbite. I got a saggy booty unless I'm wearing Bfit Amazing.
I have a
50% off.
saggy.
50% with the link. That's awful.
I do
What
have
you-
a saggy
you're not
booty
even
if I'm
drinking your
not
whiskey.
wearing
What do you-
beef.
Why'd you leave it way over there?
I am drinking my whiskey.
You don't-
Austin is forcing us to drink whiskey, and just so everybody knows.
Well, this is a
lemonade.
this is a science thing because we're going to talk about how whiskey affects you working out.
Yes, no, we actually are going to get into alcohol in general and everything that everybody needs to know about being on a fitness, weight loss, health journey, and
Is whiskey included in it?
whiskey can be included, but there's some things you need to know.
How much whiskey? How much whiskey
It
can be
depends.
included
It depends.
on what
So-
shorts you're wearing?
No, so
It depends on the amount of support that, no.
How much stumbling do the
today-
shorts stop?
today I fasted. So if I wanted to drink some whiskey, it would be in my calorie budget because I have a lot of calories left because all I've eaten is dinner,
Okay.
which was healthy.
I have a question.
Yes.
So are you talking about the calories in this? They don't say. How do you
So you'd
know?
look at actually
Well-
we have an
Show me.
app.
Show me.
So that with the app, you can see how much is in there. But the other thing is that we know that for every ounce of alcohol, you have 9 calories.
Can I
No matter
real
what it
quick?
is.
My
It's
Fit
either 9
Diary.
or 7.
Hit.
All I do is
Talking to that mic. Just
I'm
grab it right
sorry.
here. Grab it right here and move it with your face. Move it
Okay.
to your face.
that's not it.
Oh, you're gonna look it up.
All right, so with my Nut Diary, I just scanned it and it's 96 calories,
For, well, what's the serving?
44 milliliters.
We're gonna need a converter. Apples. This is not sounding like something like if I'm gonna pour a glass of whiskey, I'm not gonna go through this process
So-
of.
But you need to, though, because what doesn't get measured doesn't get
Oh,
netted. You
okay,
need
it's
to
by
know.
ounces. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I continued.
So,
So, 1 fluid ounce would be a shot, right?
two,
Yes.
2 ounces is a shot. Shot is 2 ounces.
No, that's a
it's
double.
one.
No.
A double is 2. I
I'm
promise.
sure.
Do you want to
Promise.
argue, bitch? I'm
Yeah,
I'm a
see,
bartender.
We're on the same.
Okay, I thought it was 2. This is
You just been
better.
drinking
have
doubles your
to.
whole life.
No.
You're like, I'm just
So,
drinking doubles.
One shot,
No, it was. He just had a double, so that's 131 calories.
131 calories.
I had a double, or you had a double.
You had a quadruple.
No,
That was a trip. Oh,
I didn't delete
trip.
this.
Oh.
Right.
So
and
yours,
you didn't
but
drink-
does it tell you? It tells you how many calories are in each shot.
Right. Or you
Right.
can put how many ounces you had total. And then
Who's counting beers?
beer is probably the worst.
Ladies and
Honestly,
ladies and
if
gentlemen.
there's one thing that you want to avoid drinking if you're trying to lose weight, if you're
Yeah.
trying to be healthy, it's definitely beer, because beer isn't just alcohol. Beer has
Like wheat and sugars
it's got
and
so
all
much
kinds of
sugars,
shit in
the
it.
hops, the wheats, the
Did I ever tell you about when I had
barley.
the first time when I first got my first kegerator?
Mm.
So I bought my first kegerator, and actually my buddy gave it to me. I fixed it all up. It worked. It was really nice. And the first thing I bought was like a keg of a really good like tangerine wheat beer, which is like the creamiest, thickest beer.
Mhm.
And I had a full keg of it, which is like 125 beers or something.
Oh my
And
God.
it's a lot of beers. And I'd get home from work, have dinner, and I'd have a beer because it's right there. You just
Right.
pour one. It's not like I'm trying to get drunk, but it's a
You
good
just-
beer. It's
you
there.
have your
Some
beverage.
some
Right.
sounds good. So I have a beer, and then I'm like, oh, I'll have a second beer after that, or two or three, and you do that for every day for like ever until the keg's gone. I gained like 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not surprised.
after that I only bought kegs of light beer, and as soon as I stopped that, and then I made myself only drink not during the week. I could have one beer during the week with dinner,
Mhm.
and then I could drink whatever I wanted during the weekend. But as soon as I did that, I lost like 18 pounds, like
Right.
within 2 weeks, just because I wasn't intaking the constant.
Yeah,
It wasn't a
you were-
lot. It was just steady and regular.
Not only were you in a calorie surplus because of the beer, but what alcohol does is it causes what I call metabolic chaos. So now is where we're going to get sciencey before you get
That's
Oh.
where I'm gonna go fill up my lemonade because all of the
I told you to bring all that stuff in here.
Oh.
Yeah, bring
So-
everything in here.
So metabolic chaos caused by any type of alcohol basically means
Hold on. What's the word metabolic mean?
metabolic is how your body processes,
Metabolic is
how it metabolizes
your gut.
food, water.
What is the actual definition? Hey Siri, what is the definition of metabolic? Go.
Relating to or deriving from the metabolism of a living organism.
That's worthless.
Oh.
That's worthless.
Relating to or deriving. Oh,
Yeah, but what does your
bitch.
metabolism do? It metabolizes the food. It processes it and uses it for energy.
Okay, Siri, what is the definition of metabolism? Oh, hey Siri, you gotta say the hey. What is the definition of metabolism? What is the definition of metabolism? The chemical processes that occur within a living organism in order to maintain life.
Right. and
So
you maintain
metabolic-
life by you
What is the
take food and you break down that food and convert
Create
it to energy.
sustenance. What is
Right.
the difference between metabolism and metabolic? One letter.
Well, something is metabolic if you can use it. If
But
you
wasn't
can
the
ingest it
definition
and use it
completely
for-
different?
for food?
Anyway,
Derailed this conversation.
Yeah. it's
So-
Siri's fucking fault.
so-
I just went off her.
So, metabolic chaos, fancy buzzword. Don't get stuck on that. Basically, what it means is whatever we put in our body, whatever
Will
we
you ice me?
eat or drink, our body uses for energy, and it breaks down in our system.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you a pointer right here. If you're doing something that makes a lot of loud noise,
What?
put your words after.
Huh?
Take a break, bro. I need more ice than that, you alcoholic. You can use your hands. I don't know why I keep that in there.
Feel more
Give me-
fancy.
I need. You want the I have some pliers.
You're gonna metabolize this ice.
That's probably the healthiest thing in this cup.
It is.
What does your body have to do to metabolize water? Does it metabolize water? I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions.
We'll ask Siri later, okay?
I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions that we probably don't know the answers to.
Let's get to the point here. So
The point is,
the point is, everything that you ingest, your body, has to process and then eliminate or convert to energy or both.
hold on. I just want to pause you because I like how you're using your salesperson voice.
Is that my salesperson
It's
voice?
your
Hey,
salesperson
are any
voice.
of my clients on here? Was that the voice that I used when we talked?
Casey, if we're sitting outside and we're drinking whiskey, that's not the voice you use. Anna's like, oh my God, he's going to freak out. And you thought this was going to be fun. Okay, no, but really.
Metabolic chaos.
Metabolic chaos is
When you drink alcohol, your body decides that it wants to get rid of the alcohol first. So what else did you eat today?
M&Ms.
I did eat, yeah, but not very many. I had a chicken salad for lunch.
Okay.
That was it.
That was it?
That was it.
Okay. So your body's kind of processing that, right?
Yeah.
Now,
This is actually my dinner.
You're drinking alcohol, so what your body's going to do is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's halt the process on the M&Ms and the chicken salad.
On the food?
On the food.
Or just those things? Just food in general?
On any of the food that you've eaten.
Okay.
And let's deal with this stuff here that doesn't belong in our system. And so it's going to pause all of that. And it's going to say, we got to get rid of this first. We have to prioritize getting the alcohol
Get it into
out
the
of
blood.
System. Well, yeah, get it in the blood, get it through the liver, get it out of the system. Does that make sense? So if you've eaten a ton of food and then you're drinking, you're hoping that you're going to burn through those calories and use them for energy. But then when you're drinking, your body's going to prioritize the alcohol.
Interesting. So why does it matter if you eat before you drink?
It doesn't matter. It's about being aware of what's happening in your system. That if you're staying in a calorie deficit and you're wanting to make sure that those calories are being burned up, and then your body starts using fat for energy.
Yeah.
Not to contradict you, but I think it is important to eat before you.
Yeah.
But why? No, it does. It's a
I'm
very
not saying-
definite.
Because,
I'm not
just like
saying-
before you take an ibuprofen, you eat because it affects your
Right.
stomach
Well,
a certain way.
I can't take it. I'll die.
Well, I know.
Well,
You're
we're
allergic
not
to
talking about you
ibuprofen.
then. We're talking about somebody that can take it, like a normal human being.
Normal.
Yes. No, I'm not advocating for drinking on an empty stomach. I just want people to be
No, but
aware.
I'm curious why would, I mean, it's like obvious when you eat and drink water before you drink alcohol, you feel better after drink. You don't get as bad of a hangover. You can drink more. I mean, you can drink more longer because your body, it's got to be like burning the food also for energy.
It is, but it definitely slows
throws
that
it off.
process
It just
down
throws
and
it off
throws
in
it off
general.
because it prioritizes getting rid of what it recognizes as a foreign substance out. And then, I'm glad that you mentioned hangovers because 9 times out of 10, a really, really bad hangover has little to do with drinking and more to do with the fact that you didn't sleep that night. Because
Yeah, that's
alcohol
true. That's
messes
true.
with your sleep, and 9 times out of 10, having a really bad hangover.
What does it do
is
to your
because
sleep?
It inhibits it just messes up your circadian rhythm and getting through that full REM, that deep REM sleep.
Getting into that cycle.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So one recommendation that I have, if you are going to have a few adult beverages,
Oh,
cheers.
jeez. Good Lord. This is for the church people watching.
Do it earlier in the evening. Don't stop having a drink and then go straight to bed.
And
Stop
follow up with water.
several hours
Or drink
before
water.
bed
Yeah,
and
while
drink
water.
Drink water.
Do you think that's because do you think if you drink water after, so say you drank 24 beers.
Oh my God.
That's a lot
I
of
would
beers.
Die.
Holy
Okay, well,
cow.
but we're using
We're
an
talking
extreme
about you.
example. We're using I'm not going to say I never have, but I'm just saying if you drank 24 beers and then you drank 2 gallons of water, you would feel better than if you didn't drink the water. Do you think that's because
That's a
the
lot
water-
of liquid, a lot
No,
of
I
fluid,
know.
and I
I'm
think
using
you would
extremes.
just- I think you would
I'm
vomit.
obviously
Extreme.
the first problem is you're going to be in the bathroom every 10 minutes.
And you're gonna vomit because it's a lot of liquid in your stomach.
Too much. I
Okay.
mean, what's the
All of that
period
aside,
time?
I didn't say.
Okay,
The point
sorry.
was you would feel better if you drank 2 gallons of water versus if you didn't.
Right.
Right.
Do you think it's because the water dilutes the alcohol? Beer in general is just because there's a bunch of shit in it. But if you drank a bottle of whiskey and then drank 2 gallons of water, you would feel better than if you didn't drink the water. Is that because the water dilutes the liquor? Or is
I
it
think
because
it-
you're putting hydration in with something that dehydrates you?
You're putting
makes it
hydration.
go-
The hydration.
Yeah, and it makes it go through your system faster.
Like a flush.
Yeah.
Right.
If I pour the rest of this into this container,
Mhm.
right, the rest of this, into this, right? And then I pour in a bunch of water, the same amount of alcohol is still in this container.
Oh my gosh, hold
Until-
on. My brain has, but there's also ice in there, which throws it off.
Right.
So you
But
probably have like a 50-50 if you dumped the rest of that, and then if you dumped a gallon of water, there'd be a lot of water.
Right. But okay, so let's use your example. Okay, let's Bill Nye the
We
Science
can
Guy
do
here.
it.
Check this out.
That's what we do.
Okay, let's say we're not
Hold
gonna
on.
let's
So
say-
everybody knows this has a bunch of ice in it.
Yeah.
There's ice in this ice bucket.
Nice.
Ice.
So let's say
Ice,
we
ice,
poured
baby.
the rest of this in here. Okay. And then we started pouring water into it. Eventually, what would happen? The water would start spilling out, and much of the alcohol would start coming out. So what's going to happen when you drink that much beer and then that much water?
You're flushing out the alcohol.
You're
Also,
going to be
now my mind's really
seeing a
blown.
man about a horse.
Seeing a man about a horse. I'm allergic to horses.
But it's still, you're allergic to horses? Serious?
I'm like deathly allergic to horses.
You have a horse living in
Wow.
oh, where's that dog? Oh, there it is.
That's not a horse.
Animal.
That is a much cleaner, less smelly horse.
All right, let's see if we got anyone joining.
No, we got Mr. Arabic letters. He blue with a bunch of emojis. How's that
Yeah.
pink lemonade?
It
He's
says
awesome.
two people.
Maybe
It's
he's
delicious.
somebody from like
He'd probably
not far
spam because
away that
I
really like needs to lose weight.
no,
Maybe
I
we can
it's
help him.
it's a weird thing. Oh wait, it says C translation.
If you
Yeah, let's see
are
if
on
What's
here,
was it? Oh no, simply king of knowledge. Do not say not. Oh, I'm not. Don't say that. Expert in black, spiritual, and tantric.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
even want to.
Spam.
Oh, enjoying the
Ida!
visitors' comments. Ida.
Ida.
It's Ida. How's
No,
it
I
going,
wasn't.
Ida?
I wasn't going to say Ada until you said the name. I was just gonna say hey, and then you said Ida, and so I added the duh at the end, and it came out as a wrong
Less
name.
whiskey.
Less
Austin.
whiskey. Shh, this is the only whiskey. Well, but I haven't really eaten anything today.
You've
Exactly.
had M&Ms.
But that's good for weight loss.
M&M.
You want me to go get you some water?
No, I ate a big chicken salad. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
hi, Ida. It's good to see you.
Who's
Glad you're
Ida?
here.
Ida is an awesome person who's joined our Facebook community. And
Is Ida a woman or a man?
Ida is a woman.
Hello, Ida.
You've
Paso,
never heard
Texas?
you've never heard the name Ida before?
Idaho.
So no, that's a no. That's a no.
That's
Oh,
an
look at your
insult.
face.
It's a total insult. I mean, sorry,
No,
Ida.
no. I haven't. I don't think so.
I
Who
apologize
do
for
you like
Austin.
know Ida other than like being a?
I've met other
Client?
people named Ida.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I'm
Absolutely.
talking about this Ida. I'm goofy person.
I'm a goofy.
Aren't we
person,
all?
you know.
Aren't we all?
But who's Ida? Is it like a friend of yours, or is she like
yeah,
a?
it's somebody that I met.
Not it.
through
We're gonna.
Facebook.
It's she. We're
She.
gonna start there.
She.
Well, let's start with the beginning of that sentence. She is a.
She is a wonderful
Woman.
person on Facebook that I met who
Okay.
was inquiring about our 42-day detox and is looking to start a fitness journey and really change her life.
Has she done the 42-day
Story
detox?
of my
She's starting
life
it.
since
Yeah.
kinder.
Which
but like
part
the
is she on?
potatoes.
But like,
Kind of
she's talking about Idaho.
Yeah.
Idaho, yeah. I just moved here from Washington, which is on the border of Idaho, and the Idaho jokes roll nonstop. But how far into the 42-day thing is she?
I'd say a couple weeks. I'd be curious to know, Ida, where you're at, trying to get better habits going. That's awesome.
How does at that point where like so do you make the 42-day detox per person, or do you do it? Is
It's
that
personalized?
or is it a whole? That's a preset thing.
There's a few versions that I have for different budgets. So because it's a very specific grouping of foods that are 100% anti-inflammatory. These are foods
Okay.
that 100% will not cause bloat or inflammation or an increase of water weight.
It's like a
water
gut
retention.
health thing.
Yeah.
Partially, yes. And so
There's different
there's-
recipes for different meals and different choices.
So you build
Right.
the
options.
so the detox. So it focuses on dietary health. Is there also a workout program
Yes.
included?
yes, there is. So
Or
there's-
is that different, or is that the same across the board?
That's the same across the board unless there's somebody who needs something specific. Because what I start with for folks is something simple that they could do at home with no equipment 15 minutes or less in their living room. That way there's no excuse, there's no running from it, there's no like, well, I can't get to the gym, well, I don't have dumbbells.
It's made for you.
Anybody can do this.
It's made for you.
Anybody can do this. If you have a living room, if you have a backyard, if you have, a space that you can.
What if you live in a camper trailer?
I think you could even do some of those in a camper trailer.
Can you make ones for a camper trailer?
That's
Absolutely.
next on the list.
So
Yeah, that's gonna. But we're gonna
the
niche
kind of
down
workouts
here.
that I do, I could totally do in a camper.
I was gonna
trailer.
say most of the ones I feel like I've seen you do on like a yoga mat, you could fit that in like a camper trailer.
Right. If you can fit on a
Absolutely.
yoga mat, you can do it. And
Trying
so,
to get better habits. We're all trying to get better habits, Ida.
Hey, but that's great. It's great for you to step up now and
So is Ida doing? So she's a few weeks in. So
Mm-hmm.
you gave her a meal plan.
Mhm.
You gave her a workout plan,
Mhm.
and she's progressing through that. And then how do you measure that? How do you measure it?
We just follow up and check in on the Facebook group, and if she gets.
Do you
to a
have
point
do you
where-
have like a 42-day goal?
So the goal is to reduce inflammation.
Just in general.
In general. So the 42-day detox is to clear the body of that inflammation and get to a point where all of that's gone. So then we can start reintroducing foods to see what's causing the problem. Because some people can eat broccoli
Whatever.
all day, every day, and it won't cause a problem. Other people can take one bite of broccoli and just feel bloated and gassy, and it just because broccoli is fermentable. So it ferments in your gut, creates more gas, expands the intestinal walls. And so everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. So the idea is that's why it's called a detox, is we're kind of trying to get rid of all that inflammation, all that bloat, all that water weight, and then we figure out what's going to work.
it's good to see some people on here.
Absolutely.
Say hi and let us know if there's any questions that you want us to address specifically.
Look at how perfect we have this Seagram 7 bottle sitting here with the
I know.
7 pointed.
We should be.
Hey. Seagram 7. Drink it to get drunk. Okay,
This is
so
why Austin is usually behind the camera.
That's usually why we have him on the other side of the studio.
yeah. But you said you're trying to get rid of inflammation. What is the downside to inflammation? Why do you want to get rid of it in general?
Anything that's bad, when you go to the doctor and you get a diagnosis, when you get bronchitis, when you get conjunctivitis, when you get, whiskyitis, I don't know.
What about COVID?
Anything. Anything.
I don't ever hold on. I don't ever want to look you in the eyes while you say the word anything like that ever again. That was a very
Creepy
bad connection.
We're losing viewers.
Whoop whoop whoop.
Yeah, where's the
Don't even look at
soundboard?
that.
You're slacking.
It's over there. We could do it. Womp womp womp.
We need it.
Okay.
So yeah, anything that ends with itis is inflammation.
Okay, which is like a swelling or
Swelling or more gas or just swelling basically.
Yeah.
Stiffness in your joint.
I hate when my joints are stiff.
Arthritis
Me too.
is
Inflammation.
swelling and inflammation. in your
Inflammation.
joints.
Arthritis is actually like a calcium buildup though too, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but
But
anyway.
it causes that swelling and inflammation. And so in terms of your gut, when you have inflammation, it causes problems. It makes it harder to lose weight. You end up retaining more water. You feel bloated. and
Just because your
sloshy and
stomach's
gross.
not processing things right.
Exactly.
Right. So
Yeah,
the
it
40
causes IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Should I look at you in the eyes when I say irritable bowel
What's
syndrome?
IBS? What is IBS? So the like primary
you know
goal.
what? IBS is very common.
No, it is. Well, and it
It's
probably
super
it
common.
largely depends on like what food you eat. I mean that like
Mhm.
there's like
but it
the
also
whole
has to do with stress,
yeah.
big time. But yeah, if you're not eating right,
Drop
you're
that
stressing
mic.
out.
Is it drifting up on you?
I think so. Yeah, if you're not eating right and you're there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey.
Okay,
It's
there you go.
It's like when we went scuba diving and
And I
pull
kept
you
coming
down.
up because
Wait, what?
we went scuba diving and I wasn't heavy enough. So they had to,
had to put
put weights
weights
on me, but
And
he
they
had
weren't
to keep,
heavy enough.
they weren't heavy enough. He had to keep pulling me down.
Where'd you guys go scuba diving at?
Cayman Islands.
In the Cayman
That's
Islands.
dope.
We saw
I've
a
always
shipwreck
wanted to
under
go
the sea.
scuba diving. I've never
It was
gone.
amazing.
It was awesome.
I've gone skydiving.
Me too.
I've gone scuba diving when I was heavier, and it was great because I was heavier, so I was able to get down.
Which is weird because fat floats, right? So that seems backwards
That is buoyant, but you're heavier as a person.
as weight wise.
Yeah.
Your bone density's
Yeah.
higher.
I suppose.
You got that higher bone density.
I don't know. They put they had this weird fanny pack thing, and we had to put
It's like a
rocks
belt.
in there.
Yeah.
That's a belt.
Yeah.
And I kept was looking over because I would see something cool, and then I would look over at her.
She's like,
and she's like, I'm here. I'm like, grabbing her, pulling her back
Trying to go down.
Yeah.
how long were you guys like under there? Is that where you guys went on your honeymoon?
We
One of the
went on a
places, yeah, we went on
cruise.
a cruise.
So
we
there was like
went
a
to-
couple days stop or something there.
Cozumel, Cayman Islands, and Jamaica.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
man.
Yeah, man.
Don't ever do
It's
that.
Irie.
You gotta sit in the like tanning bed way longer. You're gonna do that. Like really long and a lot.
No, he'd just be redder. He wouldn't
Really
get
be
dark.
CASEYDARK.
Yeah, Casey Darker. How
Let's add an R on Facebook. Let's do that. Let's do
ladies
that.
and gentlemen, you're gonna hit up Casey.
Can we do that, Mr. Zuckerberg? Can we just add an R to it?
There's Casey Dark Fitness, and then there's Casey Darker Fitness. If your complexion is a little bit better.
Oh my goodness.
How long was your guys' cruise?
7 days.
It was 7 days long. It was glorious. I had never been on a cruise before.
I've never
but
been on a cruise.
Casey had. He had been on Disney cruises. And
Did you hit up
it was
Cinderella?
fancy.
All the princesses.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you hit up all the princesses.
That's what I thought you were going to say too. No, cruises are really amazing. I think all-inclusive vacations at a resort are amazing too.
Yeah.
But the cruise experience, going to several different places and then being able to take excursions from there.
How
and
long
then
were you
just-
at each place? Like
Only a day.
just one day.
But I mean, imagine going being.
But you're
in,
on the sea and you have different things to do on the actual ship.
Yeah, on the boat. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, imagine being at the coolest, biggest hotel in Vegas that has shops, and restaurants, and shows and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's that times 10,
And you're on the
floating
water.
on the ocean.
Have you ever seen the pictures that are what the cruise ships advertise versus what it actually is, and it shows an overcrowded pool or
No.
you never seen those?
I've seen that, but
Haven't, but
That's
it
not real
doesn't-
life.
No.
I've never done one. But my aunt does them all the time. She did a 23-day cruise where they
Holy
left
crap.
Florida, went all the way down to Panama,
Oh,
and then
wow.
came back up to
Oh.
California. And they actually got off in Peru and ditched the cruise and did a bunch of shit in Peru and then flew back from Peru.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah.
Well, so they just.
Yeah, they just
finished-
ditched the cruise. They just ditched the
Oh,
cruise.
man.
I
would
can't
never-
imagine that.
It's because there was a waterfall thing. There's this. It's it looks kind of like Niagara Falls, where it's I don't know what you call it, but it's where a river goes into it's in movies. You've seen it where it drops down 4 levels,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's in Peru somewhere, and they
Do you-
wanted to go to that.
Do you know what they eat as a delicacy in Peru?
Food.
But what kind of food? What kind of animal do you think they
What
eat
it-
in Peru?
Bull?
No,
What?
guinea pig.
Oh, I can see that.
They call
I
it-
hate guinea
They
pigs.
call it gui.
Oh, you see how that mic's tilting up on you again?
Well, it's because I.
It's you guys sit up straight. Let's talk about posture. Okay,
know,
you two
especially
work
with
out.
me.
You work. What is that? You workout gurus. You can watch these podcasts, and Anna slowly disappears
Well,
in the corner.
and it's really sad because I'm a music teacher and a voice teacher, and I talk about posture all the time. But then when it comes to this big
Just
microphone,
sitting.
I don't know.
This huge microphone. You can move it. Just grab right here and move it. This is what you.
Yeah.
You're
I'm not
scared.
allowed to touch it.
You're
guess so.
scared
I-
because
I'll
Casey
just
broke
hold
it.
on
Don't
to
grab
it.
it right there. Don't grab it right there. Grab it right here, like this. This
Oh,
is your mic.
right here?
There you go. And then just
Okay.
move it to where you want it. It'll go up
Right.
and down like
I
this.
wanted to ask Ida.
Oh, Ida.
So Casey said you're from El Paso. Is that right?
Ida, are you from El Paso?
Somewhere in Texas. I can't remember exactly where. Was it El Paso? Where in Texas was it?
How'd you meet
Where
her?
in
Did you
Texas?
like randomly find her on Facebook?
Mhm.
Nice, nice. How do you feel about Texas? While we wait.
I mean, I'm good with
I haven't been
Lots of
to
family in
many
Texas.
parts of Texas. Only Fort Worth.
You haven't?
I haven't.
I
Oh, and I've been to Austin.
I
actually.
wouldn't live there, but I like going there.
When
I've
we
been
were
to
like-
Austin,
Antonio.
wouldn't. What? No.
El Paso, born and raised. I went to Cruces.
I
For
got
school.
it. I was right.
Oh,
Wait.
El Paso, born and raised, but Austin. So you live in Austin, but you were born in El Paso. Yeah.
Probably right. Yeah, yeah.
Austin is beautiful, and
know, I am.
and yeah, I went to NMSU.
Let's keep talking about
undergrad.
Austin. Push that microphone down.
It keeps riding
I'm
up.
gonna touch it.
Tilt it right there. Tilt it. There you
Okay,
go.
is that better?
It's still working. We're still on.
I have
Okay.
now
Sorry, El
just tilt
Paso,
it.
my sister.
How do you handle a microphone when you're singing?
I hold it in my left
Okay,
hand.
grab that right here. That's your mic. Move it up and down. No, look. It twists right there. Wait, that works. That works.
All right,
Yeah,
there.
there we go.
There you go. You got. There you go. So
We
you
do it
can
live,
you can
okay?
you
We
can
do
go
it
like
live.
this. Look, Anna. This is mic technique.
Do you love-
Hey, up and down.
Do you love visiting your sister in Austin? We had the best time there.
I've never been to Austin. The only
Austin's a blast. And San Antonio was always fun.
the only interaction I've had in Texas is I drove from here to Columbus, Ohio, and I drove through the northern part of Texas, and it was flat and windmills and windy. Is the rest not that?
I mean, Texas is huge.
No,
So
I
there's-
know Texas is
I mean,
huge,
there's
but
different parts.
is there, like,
Most of it is
mountains at
hot and
all?
Flat. There are some mountains, but most of it is
hot and flat.
hot and flat.
El Paso's definitely hot. It's huge. There are
El Paso is.
yeah.
It's like
there are
massive,
four
massive.
sides. Like
There's 4 sides.
well, the west side, the east side, north side, south side, right?
So which side are you at?
My my college boyfriend was from the west side.
Did
of
he
El
throw up the
Paso.
west side?
No.
He threw up that west. I can't do my thumbs all
I'm
fucked
pretty
up.
Sure,
sure
the
he
west
threw
side?
up other.
Oh, he threw up other
Oh,
things.
come on.
Somebody.
This is terrible. This is supposed to be about fitness. What are you guys doing?
Right. All
No,
right,
it's
40 day
not.
detox. Back
No,
to
it's
40
not.
day
No,
detox.
it's not. It's about whatever we want to talk about. That's a problem. That's a
well,
problem.
Okay,
the
so are we talking
42-day
about Texas?
detox is
Yeah, no, we're talking about
is-
Texas because I've never been. I've been
it's
to
a
Texas,
completely
but I don't
free
feel like I've
program.
experienced Texas.
So, you
It's
know,
hot. I know it's hot.
but
It's hotter than here.
there-
I've
so
researched.
There's places where there's like
It's more
you go to
humid.
Dallas, Houston. There's the big city, and the cities are amazing. I mean,
But
I mean,
there's
they're
a lot
huge.
of
Albuquerque
rural
on
Albuquerque is a
areas.
pretty small city.
yeah. But then there's other places in Texas that are very like
rural.
rural country, and that's where my family lived.
Were they
Yeah.
cowboys?
Yes, very much so. Ranch hands, and
I'm putting my hands
They-
in your eyes.
that's fine. They the one thing about Texas that I remember is the ticks and the chiggers and the
And the what?
the chiggers. They're these bugs.
Chiggers.
CHI
Chiggers.
chiggers. They're these bugs that make noise and they
We're
fly
getting on-
around. And then at night, there's the fireflies every
Oh,
night.
I love fireflies.
Yeah, and what sucks because we don't get those here in New Mexico.
No,
you
it's
can't
too-
find
it's too
fireflies
high.
anywhere. But in Texas, they're all over the place. But the ticks are for real. Like
Ticks are awful.
And this is gross. I'm gonna tell you a
Oh, I
gross
poured
story.
a lot of whiskey.
So
in
we
your cup.
had we had a couple dogs. My aunts and uncles that live out there had a couple dogs, and we would have a game where
Did
we
you-
would go and pull the ticks off the dogs and smash them on the ground. When we were kids, but they would like splat.
They're-
and
Yeah,
make
they
high
explode.
velocity blood spatter.
Blood splatter.
But
It's
you
like
know,
those Snappets we all about to pop for 4th of July, but a
Exactly.
little bit different.
Yeah. So Texas is beautiful. There's lots to see. There's lots of places to go. One of my favorite places in
I love
Texas
the lightning bugs.
is Corpus Christi.
You love what?
The lightning
The
bugs.
lightning
Oh yeah. Corpus Christi.
Corpus
That's
Christi.
south, isn't it?
Yes,
that's
that's
pretty.
all
That's
the
like
way down by the
basically
Gulf.
New Mexico.
I'd love to go there.
Oh, it's so awesome there. The beach there. So my cousin Naz, who I actually want to get on this show because he's a competitive bodybuilder, and dude is like
Is he gonna fit between this table and this wall?
he won't.
He doesn't
actually.
We need to do
like
something
He
different
won't.
about
He's
this.
It'll be
huge.
Zoom.
It'll
Because
have to
he
be
doesn't
live
on
here.
there, but he, he's who got me started with lifting.
I need a studio.
You
That's
do
what
need
I
a
do.
studio.
Soon.
We can build one in
I'm
Texas.
researching build. What?
No.
What about Texas? You can build one in Texas?
It is a
No.
good sized city. Like I could totally get lost in El Paso
Mhm.
super easy. Actually, I think I have gotten lost.
How many
in El
people
Paso.
live in El Paso?
Oh, a lot.
Hey Siri, what is the population of El Paso?
Here's what I found from Wikipedia.
More than
2020
Albuquerque.
population of the city from the U.S. Census Bureau was 678,815, making it the 22nd largest city in the U.S., the 6th largest city in Texas.
Hey Siri, how many people are in Albuquerque?
Harrison.
Yes.
500,064. So only
See,
100,000 less.
Yeah.
So
But
it's not that
100,000
big.
people is I think
Portland
that's a lot.
is, I think Portland's like 1.2. Hey Siri, how many people live in Portland, Oregon?
Here's what I found from Wikipedia.
Wow, 652 is not counting like the.
Population of
Yeah.
652,500.
So Portland's about the same size.
Right.
As El Paso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not that much bigger than Albuquerque. Albuquerque, the thing with
100,000 people, I think that's bigger.
it's, but if you think about, hey Siri, how many people live in Rio Rancho?
As of 2020,
100,000. So that's the the difference is the size of Rio Rancho, which is not that much.
Mm.
It's 100,000 is not a whole lot. If you get up to like 500,000, that's a pretty big difference because it's basically one suburb.
Mm.
So El Paso is essentially the same size as Albuquerque.
I see that we have
Minus
a couple more
Rio
friends
Rancho.
on here, and I want to see if we can get any comments going.
This is how you do that.
There's also some
Jumping on.
random conversation going on here. So if you want to guide us a little bit in some direction or another, that would be
No.
awesome.
Ask us anything.
No. If you guys are in the viewer account right now, drop a comment that we can see live and ask any sort of fitness question you want to know. You know, what's
Any
the
sort.
proper form to lift a dumbbell? How many calories do you lose if you do 25 jumping jacks? How many bottles of water should you drink if you drink half a gallon of whiskey? You can pretty much ask anything you want.
We actually might need to
We
ask
just lost
Siri
half our
that.
viewers.
Yeah, hey Siri. Siri has honestly been. Oh nope, shut up, bitch. Anyway, alcohol causes metabolic chaos.
Yes.
Oh, going back to that.
I
Well,
brought it back. You
and-
see,
and
so
there's
we just
more.
spent
See,
like
round
35
circle.
minutes fucking around, and now we're gonna bring it back to what we were talking about.
Good, because we need to. So that's the first.
We don't
problem.
need to. We can do whatever
We
that
don't
we
need
want.
to, but we
HE
should.
double hockey
We
sticks.
gotta close the
We don't have to close shit. We're sitting here. Who wants us to shut it down right
I won't
now?
sleep at night if we don't close the loop and I get.
You want to elaborate on metabolic chaos?
Well, not just metabolic chaos, but
Oh, just
alcohol in general. So the other thing that happens is, and we know this, that alcohol reduces inhibition, right?
you mean my mental state to make decisions?
Exactly.
That was a good definition. That was a
Exactly. That was
perfect
solid.
definition.
That was solid.
That was
So
good stuff.
solid.
there.
Viagra solid.
And what does it take? What does it take? Figured you for a Cialis guy, but okay. What does it take to be able to?
You can't even be mad about that. You can't even be mad. You're like, you were in the middle. This is the pro. You got a scripted thing you want to say right here, right?
It's
You're-
not even scripted.
But it's
all just in
kind
my
of
head.
scripted. You like
It-
have
I
it,
mean,
but
it's
you're like, I
little.
gotta say this because I want to say it in front of the camera. You gotta just not do that. So I threw a bombshell in there with. No. But say what you want to say. Go ahead. I'll watch.
Okay. Watch.
Alcohol metabolizing.
Not even metabolism. We know that it affects our judgment, right?
It inhibits.
It
What did you
inhibits-
say?
It impacts our inhibitions. It
Inhibitions.
lowers-
That's the
it
word you
lowers
use.
your inhibitions. What do we need when we're trying to make better food choices and not be impulsive?
Oh.
We need good inhibitions. We need that stopgap in our brain that says,
Don't
I
eat
really
that.
want to eat 4 of those donuts, but instead I'm not going to, and I'm going to eat something that's actually going to satisfy me and fill me up and and be healthier for me, right? When you drink alcohol, your inhibitions are lowered, so you are 10 times more likely to not only overeat, but make poor food choices when you have been drinking. So on top of the
beer
metabolic
munchies?
chaos,
I was
beer
gonna
munchies.
say, do you get like munchies when you drink? I don't think I've ever gotten that.
Not
No.
I don't really do
necessarily. I
that.
think that's a myth, but it is true that
So beer
I think
munchies are a
this-
myth.
No. So this is what I think beer munchies actually are, okay?
Okay.
You're drinking for a long time, right?
An extended
And
period of
An
time.
extended
Hours.
period of time, hours. You're at the club.
You're at the karaoke bar.
karaoke bar.
Right.
Or whatever. You're at Austin's house just drinking away.
Well, fucking throw me under the bus. I barbecue.
Yes.
I cook good food. I supply you with protein, bitch.
Well, then it becomes, 1, 2 in the morning. You're hungry again naturally because you've been up for that many
You're
hours.
awake when you
and you're
usually
not gonna
aren't.
have a
Point that
fucking
you're gonna
salad.
go get
I'm
a
sorry.
salad. You've
You're
been
not.
drinking 24 beers in.
Only one of you can talk at a time.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You
Anna's in a
interrupted
roll. Shut up.
me.
I'll mute you.
Right. Are you gonna go get a
You
salad?
you interrupted my F bomb, which was good, I guess. But
I didn't hear
you're
what you
not gonna
said.
you're not gonna get a salad. You're gonna go and get some green chili cheese fries from Federico's
Or a
because they're
greasy burger.
amazing, right?
McDonald's. Hit me with that McDonald's.
So good. Yeah,
Oh.
go up the street to McDonald's. That's what you're going to do at 2 in the morning. You're going to hit up what's open, which is not the healthiest choice. So that adds on to your caloric value on top of what you've already drank.
So
in
essentially,
calories.
it's not necessarily whether or not you eat, but it's you care less about what you eat when you're drinking.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Or it gets later at night and you have less choices and you have to make a poor
Decision.
decision.
And you're more likely
That's so many puns
and
to
you're
make
more
there. and I just-
likely to overeat too. You're more likely to eat more than you should because that point where you're going like, okay,
I should stop here.
I should stop here. You didn't do that while you were drinking.
You hit the
so
fuck it point.
Why would you do that while you're eating? It's very
Well,
easy to
sometimes-
overeat.
Fuck it point.
You hit the fuck it.
I don't know. I've seen people, I don't think I've done it myself, but I've seen people drink a ton and then afterwards they want to eat to sober them up, which
Like
That
bread,
doesn't
like eat
work.
bread to
Yeah.
to sober yourself up.
exactly.
work. It
doesn't work,
Exactly.
yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
It helps the hangover,
Mhm.
but it does not
Yeah.
sober you up.
Exactly.
No, that's I'm pretty conscious. Like when I drink or like if I smoke weed, I specifically make myself not like overindulge because like I don't really care what I eat, but I make sure I don't eat a lot of something that's bad if I'm like drinking or stoned because it adds
It's
up.
smart
That's
to be
what adds
conscious
up.
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Super smart to be conscious about it.
So it makes sense that the worst thing it's not necessarily about the fact that you're the alcohol is not what creates the possibility of like pushing you over your what do you call it
Your caloric deficit.
deficit.
It puts you in a caloric surplus.
it's that you care less about pushing yourself over or what
Well, it's
is
actually
pushing you
both
over.
because alcohol and alcoholic beverages are very, very high in calories. Very high in calories. Ask Siri how many calories are in a glass of wine. Just one.
Ooh, wine's
one
probably
ounce
really
glass.
bad.
No, it's not.
No, it's
only
not
like
as bad as beer, but
Yeah,
it's probably
but
not as good.
It's less
Like
than
if you're
200 calories.
if you're drinking
90 calories, I almost said dollars. 190 calories per a cup of wine.
Mhm.
The problem is
okay, she's like
you drink a-
push that down again.
you drink a
Just tilt it.
bottle of
Just tilt
wine.
it. Just tilt it. You drink a whole bottle.
if you drink a whole bottle of wine, then that's 900
A lot.
calories, 1,000 calories,
Mhm.
and so yeah, that's a lot. That's
Here's
your
what I
whole-
think we should do. I think we should each make an alcohol caloric pyramid. What's the worst to what's the least?
So the worst
What's
is
the
beer.
highest to the lowest? And you have to have wine, beer, whiskey, vodka, and rum.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh no, seltzers. Let's put
Tequila.
seltzers. Let's put seltzers in there. So you have whiskey, vodka, seltzers, wine, and beer.
You don't want tequila?
We could do tequila. Should we write those down so we know?
I think we
Put
should.
it and make a note in your phone so we all have the same 5 things. So you got whiskey. Are you ready?
Hold on.
I'm holding.
My notes aren't ready.
I'm really
It wasn't. It was gray. Okay.
whiskey,
Whiskey,
vodka,
vodka,
wine,
wine,
seltzer,
seltzer,
and beer.
and beer.
You want to add tequila?
And
Add tequila. Okay. Add those. So we have to each make a pyramid, best to worst in
terms of,
caloric.
most calorically dense for like
Yes.
the highest calorie count. Okay.
Beer is probably at the bottom.
Yes.
The
beer's
bottom is the
definitely at
highest.
bottom.
The bottom is the highest caloric
Okay.
intake.
Then seltzer, any seltzerized drinks, in my opinion.
I mean,
We
we
need
need
a pi- we
wine
need-
coolers.
We need a
or-
piece of paper.
We need a piece of paper.
Okay, where is
Okay.
it?
I don't know. Jen took my
We need
notebook.
paper and a marker.
You know what? I actually have
I have pens right there on my desk.
Okay, so yeah,
This is gonna be interesting.
we're
This
gonna
is gonna be
let-
interesting.
We're gonna take a guess at what we think is gonna be the most.
I bet you we get pretty close.
I
I think the
agree.
only ones I'm gonna differentiate are between wine and seltzer. Do you think seltzer is better or wine?
It just depends, like because
Just
there's some
generalize.
variation with seltzer.
Generalize.
But I would say wine is probably more
Calorically high.
calorically high.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would agree.
But there are a lot of seltzer drinks that are just loaded with sugar.
What's at the top?
Wait,
we can't do this. We can't do this. No, no, no.
Okay,
We
okay,
gotta
we gotta
wait.
wait for
We
the
gotta
paper.
wait.
We
We
gotta
gotta
wait
wait.
for the paper.
It's gonna be interesting. This is the kind of shit you gotta think of on the fly. This is why you can't have like the scripts. This is what I'm saying. You gotta like kind of just hang
I don't
out.
have a script.
But you kind of mentally do. You have like questions and stuff.
That's how I live life.
But this isn't live. This is podcasting. We're waiting for a piece of paper, and I have pens in here, Anna. If you don't have that, I thought I had paper. Oh, there's a piece of paper right there.
Mine,
Oh, here. No, I got paper. Right here. I got paper right here.
this is gonna be interesting.
Is it good? Oh, okay. Don't lose this report. I'm just gonna rip it out.
Can we make sure that Lulu didn't trip anything?
No, we're good. We can see it all right there.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
All right,
Okay.
here's yours.
Here, I have a.
Here.
We each need a writing utensil.
Here, you take that one. She's got that one.
Okay.
I'll grab another one. Okay, so what are the options?
Okay, your options are beer, wine, seltzer, vodka, tequila. There's only 5, right?
No, they're
Yeah.
whiskey.
Whiskey, 6. Okay. So the top of the pyramid has the least, the bottom of the pyramid has the most, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I got.
Okay.
What's up with this? I got a dysfunctional pen. You might have to give me your pen when you're done. Okay. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk about what we're doing while they write because I don't have a pen.
Okay.
We are trying to guess. We're trying to compare thoughts on what, as far as an alcoholic consumption, has higher caloric intake content. Beer, wine, seltzer, whiskey, vodka, or tequila. And we're going to build a little pyramid, top to bottom, containing all 6 of those things. And we're going to see how we compare. I bet you we're pretty close. I bet we're all pretty close.
I don't know. I changed my mind on a couple of things, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this is my guess.
Okay, hold on. What are the
Yeah.
options? I need the options.
Oh my god. Your options are tequila.
Whiskey, vodka. Oh, wine was supposed to be in there.
Yep.
Wine,
Seltzer,
seltzer,
beer, tequila.
and vodka.
I said vodka,
Okay.
but I forgot wine.
Don't look at mine, you cheater.
No, look at yours.
You're looking at mine, you cheater. Ooh, tequila or whiskey has more. I think tequila does. All right, I'm done.
Ready?
I tripped myself up with the wine in there, so I had to
you
add
got
it.
you got to add it in there. Do you need a pen?
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
let's
know.
start.
I don't know how well I did.
What's at the bottom? The worst.
Beer.
Beer.
For
Beer.
sure.
Beer,
Beer is the
100%.
worst.
Easily beer.
Okay,
for
second.
so many reasons.
I put wine.
Wine.
I put
It's
wine.
got a lot of shit in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah?
It's-
Okay.
Wine is, especially if you're
High
looking
sugar.
at some of the
It is high
sweeter
sugar.
ones, they're loaded with sugar. Wine is loaded with sugar.
Okay, what's third?
Tequila.
Whiskey.
Really? I did seltzers.
Really?
Whiskey? You think whiskey has more than seltzers?
I'm on the fence about it, but I'm gonna say whiskey.
Okay, let me tell you why I put tequila. It's from an agave plant,
Uh-huh.
which has more sugar in it. Agave is naturally sweet.
A sugary plant.
It's a sugary plant.
But also, most of the time you drink tequila, you don't drink it straight either. You drink it in something.
Really?
I feel
Where
like
have
most
you
people
been?
You
do.
haven't
Like
lived
a
in New
mixed
Mexico
drink.
very long.
That's what I'm saying.
No, you haven't lived in
But
New
are we
Mexico very
going-
long.
are
I
we
don't
gonna
drink
shots
tequila.
is
I'm
the-
allergic to tequila.
If we're gonna go by
Oh, you're
mixed
allergic.
drinks, then
Okay.
that changes the list.
True.
That
It
really,
does.
that
It's-
definitely
it's
changes
about-
because then we're
Yes.
adding syrup,
Yes.
flavoring, and grenadine.
Okay.
and that-
So you said,
He said whiskey.
I said whiskey.
I said tequila. You said seltzer.
oh man, I want to. How do we look this up? How do we compare?
So we just have to find out the caloric value of each.
Okay, you look up yours. You look up yours, and I'll look up mine.
Okay, but we didn't finish. What's
Oh, okay.
What's next?
I had tequila after seltzer.
I had whiskey after tequila.
So I have beer, wine, whiskey, seltzer, tequila, vodka.
Okay, you just.
What'd you have at the top?
I had seltzer at the top.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Less so than vodka is basically straight alcohol.
Yeah, I put vodka before seltzer just because seltzer is not pure alcohol.
But that means it has more shit in it. Seltzer
but it has
is
less alcohol in it.
but it has more everything else in it.
Yeah, it might have
It's-
other
Oh,
It's-
you're right.
It's
You're
like
right.
it's
I
like
thought of
drinking
it
rubbing
different.
alcohol versus a can of soda.
Yeah, so you're probably right then. Vodka should probably be at the top.
Okay, so now the tricky part is how do we break each of these down? Because
You got your app?
a cup of vodka is not equivalent to a cup of wine.
No, but we can look up an ounce of each and what the caloric count of them is
Okay.
based on look on your app. You, no.
No,
Use your app.
Use
your app tracker, your tracker thing.
Right, but what I'm saying is I would say, because if you're going out and having some drinks, you're going to have a glass of wine. But
Versus
you
an
might
ounce of
have
vodka.
a shot of vodka,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I would
Tell me
go
the name of one of those seltzer drinks.
Zima.
What's the main
Zima.
one? The
What's the one that Jen drinks?
oh, she drinks a bunch of them. White Claw.
White Bear Claw. Right?
No,
Is it
White
Claw?
Claw is like the one that made
White Claw.
seltzers famous.
Right. So a white claw. It's like a flavored.
Just count
light
your
beer.
write your numbers down and don't tell us. Don't
Okay.
tell us yet. Get all the
But-
numbers and then tell
So you
us.
have to go like based on like what would an actual normal drink be? So
No. I think you should just do an ounce of each. 1 ounce. It's one shot of each because
But
not
no one drinks an
One
ounce of
no,
beer.
no. But we're not doing it based on what people drink. We're doing it on what they factually contain.
Okay.
So you want 1 ounce of each one of those things and write the number down and then build the correct pyramid and then
Okay.
tell us what the answer is. I'm curious. Let her do it. We're bullshit.
I'm doing it.
In the
Yeah,
meantime,
you guys.
Well,
you
White
guys
Claw?
are talking.
Yeah, that's
because,
what I
mean,
said.
Like
White
I said,
Claw.
somebody's gonna drink an entire white claw, right? But
no, I'm not saying
nobody's
yeah.
gonna drink as much vodka as they drink an entire white claw.
Well,
die.
you never know. We
Well,
don't
you
live in
might.
Russia. We don't live in Russia.
Do you want to choose a specific type of beer, or should I just go generic?
Yeah, just do like
Just do generic.
do Bud Light.
PBR.
Do like Bud Light or Coors Light or something. Well, but that's a light beer.
Right.
But that's
'Cause
a
I
high
think-
percentage of what people drink.
But I would build the pyramid based off of what someone would typically actually drink. But let's do it based.
But that's
on
not
an
what. Yeah,
ounce.
that's not
We'll
what we're doing.
start with an ounce
Because then
of-
you can figure it from
but
there.
then we can figure it. From
Yeah.
there. Okay, sounds good.
Because, I mean, we're not drinking one White Claw worth of whiskey right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So you're
But
learning something
we're
today.
also drinking it with soda, and the other thing is most of the time the hard liquors, you don't drink.
You don't drink straight.
Dry,
You add other soda in it,
Yeah.
which
Is
adds more
way worse.
calories to the calories that you're already ingesting.
You can tell by like the hangover alone that drinking straight alcohol is better than drinking it with soda.
Well, and I'm
think
gonna throw this out there, and this is gonna be a callback to the last episode for any gentleman that may be watching. But the last episode we did a huge talk with Michael Sartain about testosterone. Beer and the contents of beer have been shown in studies to increase estrogen levels.
Oh, really?
So
Why?
It's something about the hops and the barley, the fermented ingredients in there
Interesting.
are estrogenic. They
I
bind to the
wonder why.
estrogen receptor.
Oh, weird. I didn't know
But so apparently, so does drinking out of a plastic water bottle. So
that. I mean, I feel like more of a man when I drink out of this glass. I went over to my buddy's house the other day, and that was 2 days ago when I went and got my tree. We were making those shirts, and I took a bottle of Crown. He didn't have whiskey glasses, and I was like, mother, what? Who doesn't have whiskey glasses if you drink whiskey? He was giving me shit because I was giving him shit because we were drinking whiskey out of a red Solo cups. He's like, you didn't bring the good whiskey, you brought Crown. It's like, I'm not drinking good whiskey out of red Solo cups. Sorry. At least he had ice.
I don't know. I think if there was one other thing I'd put on the list, it would be moonshine.
That's straight alcohol. Everclear.
Just
Rubbing alcohol. It's gonna be at the
rubbing
top.
alcohol.
It's good information to have though, because I don't know. I feel like there's like a mental acknowledgement that eating certain things are bad, but there's not a mental, as far as like for your physical well-being or your metabolic process.
Exactly.
There's not a acknowledgement mentally that drinking alcohol is bad.
Well,
it is like it's physically bad because it gives you a hangover, but
bad in terms of like the calories,
what you're intaking as what's in it.
Right. And I I imagine that there's a lot of people, because so many people that I talk to won't even, when we try to tease out like where all these calories coming from,
they won't tell you they're drinking 8 beers a day,
or even something as simple as, oh well, I do go to Starbucks every day.
Oh yeah,
Does that count? Absolutely.
Yes, everything you're putting
you get
in
a
your body
venti
counts.
Starbucks, you're
Are you
looking at like
camping
a
on
good 600 to 800.
Those are the
calorie
big ones.
drink.
Are the ventis big?
I have
Those are like-
the results.
Okay,
I have
okay,
the results.
okay. Anna's
All
gonna
right,
give
the
us.
results are in.
Did you build the pyramid?
Okay.
Oh, I didn't build it.
Organize them. Organize them by the pyramid.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Real
least
quick, real quick.
amount
The highest amount. Are you writing it down too for later?
I just wanted to make a pyramid.
I wanted to draw one triangle, and then I wanted to draw another triangle.
There are two.
All right, so we have factual information on a piece of paper over there.
Mm-hmm.
Tongues out and all.
Yep.
Is your lemonade drink on that list?
No,
well,
because there's
it's
lemonade. in it.
Vodka.
It's flavored vodka. It barely counts. That was like one of the weirdest things was, it's not weird, but I like think about that because I know what goes into making beer, and I knew that. I mean, I didn't think about it when I was drinking all that beer out of the, like, because I had the keg there, and I didn't think about it when I was like drinking 3 or 4 of them a night. But as soon as I stopped, and or at some point I realized that drinking that many of those beers, which are like extremely high in caloric value,
Right.
as soon as I stopped doing it, I like made the realization that I was like, I shouldn't be drinking that often. And just because, and it's not even like I was trying to get drunk all the time or I was drinking a lot. It was like, it was just there and it tasted good.
Right.
It wasn't trying to get drunk. It wasn't, I needed the alcohol. It was just, it's a good drink. It's sitting there and it has a mental effect of relaxing you, which is why people are like, I got off work today. I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to just kind of unwind. And doing that when you have a basically unlimited source of an extremely high caloric item or drink is so bad for you.
It is. And I mean, it happens at restaurants too. Like, even going to a fast food restaurant, you get get your burger and fries, right?
Mhm.
But then you get your big drink,
Your large soda.
your large soda is
Yeah.
like this big,
Yeah.
and if you're not getting a diet soda, if you're getting soda with sugar in it, you're looking at a lot of calories
packing it in there.
just in your beverage.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys ready?
All right, let's do
Yes,
this.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. What's lowest?
So first off, let me tell you that I actually got one correct.
You got one correct
One correct.
out of 6.
Uh-huh. Basically.
That's not
you could
good.
you could count others as correct, but you'll see what I mean in a minute.
Okay.
But the seltzer is the least. So that's at the top of the pyramid.
I was worried about that.
8 calories.
8
Okay.
calories. Okay.
Okay.
At
For
the
1
bottom,
ounce. Hold on.
For 1 ounce.
Okay. That's where the difference
1
is going to be
ounce,
is the
yes.
amount.
At the bottom, 1 ounce. Oh, that's going to be a glass. Never mind. I need to go back on that one.
Okay. Of what
Wine.
is higher than beer?
Yeah, let me hold on.
Interesting. You did a glass, not an ounce.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why.
So we were talking about soda at fast food places. When I go to like I enjoy eating McDonald's. I don't really enjoy Taco Bell, but every once in a while I like crave a couple like soft tacos just because the flavor,
You know what the last thing I got from Taco Bell was?
the shits.
It
Oh,
was
never
worth
heard
it.
that bad.
It was
Yeah, no, I've probably
Okay,
eat
I've
Taco
got it
Bell
now.
once. Okay.
All right, so there's actually a tie
Oh,
for the bottom 3.
What?
all 3?
All 3?
3. Whiskey, tequila, and vodka are all
This
64
is gonna be a
calories
fat
an ounce.
pyramid.
That's higher than beer?
Yes. Beer,
No
Wait. So
way.
it's whiskey.
vodka, and tequila.
It's all the hard alcohol.
Yeah, all the
That's
hard liquor
crazy.
is 64 calories an ounce.
So
okay?
taking shots is worse than drinking it.
No,
we
it's
just
not.
changed
No,
your
it's
whole.
not because an
that's
ounce.
1 ounce. That's
'Cause
1
it's
ounce. You're
1
right. You're right.
ounce.
Oh, I
So
almost
for
got
an
you.
ounce
I was
of
almost excited
beer,
there.
An ounce of beer is 12 calories. And I'm sorry, an ounce
Wait.
an
Do that
ounce of
again.
wine. I skipped wine. Wine.
You're
is
not doing very
20.
good at the information relaying.
So we've got the 3
The
tie,
3 have how
three-way
many
tie.
calories
They have
per?
64 per
64.
And these are the highest, right?
ounce. Yeah,
That's
those
the
are
highest. Okay, and then what's next?
Wine with 20 calories per ounce.
That seems so crazy that the.
Such a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Because alcohol has more calories.
But you're more likely to drink 2 ounces of liquor
Yes.
and 8 ounces
How many
of
ounces is a
wine.
glass of wine?
8 ounces.
So 8 times 2 is 160 ounces.
Exactly.
So it's almost 4 times as much,
Exactly.
3 times as much.
Right.
Okay,
And
so
then
what's
beer
next?
is 12 per ounce.
Okay, which a normal beer is
8 ounces.
ounces.
Well, no, really 16.
16, yeah. 16 times 12 is
I have no clue.
124, something like that.
16 times 12? I don't know. I think it's more than that.
That's more than that, yeah,
What's
because 12
16 times 12?
it's gonna be like 180 something, 92. Okay,
192.
so what's after beer?
Seltzer with 8 calories per ounce. And a typical seltzer is 12 ounces.
12 to 16 ounces.
Okay, so those are our 6 things. Now, so seltzer is, write down this number. Seltzer is 12 ounces
Mm-hmm.
times 8, which is,
No, how much a White Claw is usually 16 ounces.
no, they're not. They're
No,
smaller
they're 12?
cans. They're
How
smaller
many
cans.
ounces are a white claw? 12.
So it's 12.
12. What's 12 times 8?
96.
So
knew
96.
that.
A beer is. Why'd you
Let's-
write
let-
12 ounce?
Oh, so yeah.
16 ounce.
No. That's the number of calories.
Yeah,
12.
it's 12.
12.
Write 12. Put your 12 back. Put your 12 back here. 12 times 16. Give us 12. Oh my
What's
gosh,
12
Casey.
times 16?
It's supposed to say per ounce.
What? What was that answer?
192
192.
for 16 ounces of beer.
Okay, and then 20 times 8.
And one glass of
160.
Yeah, 160.
Okay, and this is 64 times 1. So
one drink.
it would realistically be this at the top, that second, beer at the bottom, and wine,
Yep.
right?
Beer, wine.
Beer, wine, seltzer, hard
Wine,
alcohol.
seltzer, hard alcohol. So
Which is
hard
what we
alcohol
had thought of
is at the
before.
top.
But only because you drink so little of it.
You
Right.
drink a little bit, but you also need to know if
But if you have jungle juice and it tastes
if
like
you're-
Kool-Aid
well,
and
that
you're
if you're
drinking like
mixing it with-
85 of them,
If you're
you're
drinking
mixing
jungle
it-
juice, you don't give a shit about your caloric
you're
intake.
drinking pudding
Anna.
shots,
pudding
then
shots. Well, you're mixing it with.
If you're drinking doubles,
you know, most people like if you go to a restaurant and you get a mixed drink. Like we went to for our anniversary the other day, we went to a place called Whiptail, and they have like all these fancy.
what is that?
drinks?
you've never been to Whiptail?
Are you not drinking that?
I am drinking that.
No, you're not.
Talking.
Casey's on camera, so he's not drinking. Drink that and
I
whiskey.
am drinking. these,
Oh
okay?
no!
So they have all these like fancy mixed drinks, but
Oh,
when you look
there's
at
more
it,
than that.
it's one shot of something.
And they don't do a full
But
shot.
then and they don't do a full shot, and
They
then
don't do
it's
a
a
full
bunch
shot.
of other syrups and sodas.
Well, it's a lot of ice first. A
Yeah,
lot of ice.
Well, a lot of ice, but a lot of other things that are very sugary, right? Bitter cherry
Sprite?
and Sprite,
Sweet and sour.
grenadine, sweet and sour. Those things have a lot of calories as well that you need to be aware of, and they're absolutely delicious. So you're very tempted to get more because
I call those the foo-foo drinks.
the foo drink.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love going to like Chili's or Outback Steakhouse and getting
The
like
big old ones.
one or two of the foo-foo drinks.
We used to make
big
fun of the
bowls.
peach one that they have called the Wallaby Darn
Why?
because it's Wallaby Darn.
Oh. I didn't get that the first time. I was like, "What does a wall have to do with
the
it?"
Wallaby, like it's
Thank you, Ida.
It's a
White
play on
Claw.
words.
I
It's
don't know
a,
why I said bear claw.
it's a wallaby, which is a Australian.
Well, I'll be
creature.
fucked. That's what it
It's
should
a
be. called.
wallaby, and it's a wallaby dawned.
No, but when I go get those, I
Wallaby
like think
Dawn.
about it. I'm like, I'm gonna have two of them max, and then
Did you hear that Australian accent that he just threw out?
I did it. Was it bad or was it
no,
good?
it's kind of sexy.
It's
Excellent.
only when he's wearing that shirt.
All the time.
Crikey.
So we know that. I just can't.
Crikey.
What else did we have to talk about? We talked.
We have so much to talk about. I
We
have
talked
some
about
fun
you-
things that I learned
You're
today.
slurring a little bit.
I am not slurring.
I have a friend here. Who are you? Say hi.
Who's your friend?
I don't know.
Oh, one friend.
Yeah.
You have one
It's
friend.
Probably Ida came. Maybe Ida came back.
Maybe Ida came back, but
She's
So
my
I
friend.
learned some cool stuff today, and you're gonna have a field day with this.
I'm excited because
You're
if you
getting-
think I'm gonna have a field day with it, it's got to be probably pretty exciting.
All right. So I'm trying not to get
Are you
too boring. and
Are you
sensitive.
composing yourself before you say it?
I am. I'm preparing myself for the ridiculousness that you're gonna.
Anna says your ice is melting. You need to drink before it's all water.
Yeah.
Oh, question. Were we measuring the amount of ice in each drink? Because that's a water intake, which I guess it doesn't eliminate anything, but it makes. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
No.
Nice try.
Anyway, I tried. That's
Yes.
that's an alcoholic trying to convince themselves that drinking alcohol with ice is better than drinking it without ice because it
Mhm.
contains water and you're hydrating while you drink.
Mhm. Need a meeting.
Don't call
Yeah.
yourself an
Yeah.
alcoholic. It's
No,
not
I'm
nice.
not an alcoholic. I can call but that's the thing is because I can call myself an alcoholic, that means I'm not because the first step is admitting you're one. I saw you process that and it just stumped you. It stopped you dead in your fucking tracks. You're like, wait a second, wait, no, I don't. He's right.
All right. So
Anyway,
as an
salesperson
online,
voice. Today.
Shut up.
Today.
As an online fitness coach, I'm constantly like looking at
Oh,
new
sorry,
research
Ida.
and all kinds of
We'll
stuff.
watch her mouth. She has a
And-
little one there, and we're.
Okay, we'll
I'm the
behave.
worst.
I can't promise anything for him.
Yeah.
We'll behave.
I'll act like I'm in
So,
church.
I'm always looking at new research, watching more podcasts, reading more stuff, trying to get more information.
Do you listen to
better
audiobooks?
understand every day?
Oh my gosh, he
Every day.
listens to so many.
Does he?
audiobooks.
I was gonna call him. I was gonna be like, "Do you really? Do you really?" But you
He
do.
really
You do?
does.
I'll show
But
you
like
my
what?
Audible
Like
account.
what? Like what? What's the latest book that you've listened to that you like?
The latest book was called The Praxeology of the Dominant Man. Brain Praxeology of the Dominant Man.
Praxeology?
Yes.
What does that word mean?
It's basically like not the opposite, but it's kind of in line with like a philosophy or an ideology. But where an ideology is somewhat set in stone, a praxeology is fluid. It's ever changing and it adapts.
Is it like a form of practice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Practiceology.
Pretty much.
You're
Is
on
that
the right
is that
track.
did I hit that pretty close to the?
There you go.
Why didn't you start with that?
Well,
didn't
you
think
asked
of
me
it?
what book I was reading. Jesus.
Okay,
So,
but anyway,
anyways.
so it's a practiceology of.
No, the practiceology of you listening is the question was new things that I'm learning about fitness and weight loss.
No, I was asking you about what book you were listening to.
And I was telling you about that, but no one
Yeah,
cares
but
about
before
that.
that, you did ask
Yeah,
him.
we were-
Oh yeah,
we
but I
were
wanted to
talking
know
about-
what book you were listening to.
Right, that was the most recent one, and then I've also been reading.
What is it about?
It's about
Men, being a
men
man,
and being a man.
being a man.
Well,
Well, you gotta drop your voice when
more-
you say being a man. Being
more
a
than
man.
no, more than that, the book
Being
is
a
about learning
man.
how to maintain your frame.
Being a man.
And then no, but the really exciting stuff.
Okay, yeah,
that
no,
I've
the
been reading
exciting
and
stuff
learning,
that has nothing to do with reading the book that you're reading.
PubMed studies that aren't audiobooks, but I'm still reading.
Are they in the form of audiobooks, or are you actually reading them?
No, they're. Dr. Huberman talks about them on his podcast.
Okay,
Shout
okay.
out to Dr. Huberman.
Shout out Doc Huberman.
Yeah. So he talks about, one of the ways that we burn fat, the only way that to be able to burn fat, what we mean by burn, whenever you say burn, it's not actually that our body is heating up and incinerating our fat. That's not what's happening.
You don't get hot when you burn fat.
No, I mean, your body does get warm, but it's not
No,
actually
you don't get
burning.
hot.
It's
Casey
not-
doesn't sweat.
Sorry.
He doesn't
no,
sweat.
No, I sweat, but
It
it's
doesn't
not
make
like
you hotter.
it's not like there's this piece of fat that is literally melting because your body heats up because you're running.
I don't think
not
that's
how
what
it
that
works.
means.
Casey's hot, but it doesn't make him hotter.
I think it means like you're working out and your body is using that to maintain your energy.
Right, but it goes even deeper than that. So
Oh,
what
deeper.
happens is the fat has to be immobilized first. It has to be mobilized, which means it gets into the bloodstream and then converted to energy. And the way that's converted to energy is by oxidizing. Okay. So
Hold on. I'm gonna pause you right there. So we're gonna use running as an example because
Okay.
I run all the time. So if you have excess fat and you're running and you don't have food to burn, how does your body switch to burning fat if you're running?
Okay. So let's break this down.
Yes.
So not having food to burn means you have absolutely no more glycogen in your muscle stores and no more dietary fat or protein in your system. And to get to that point, depending on how fast you're running, you need to be fasted for like 36 hours, or you need to be running at a good steady pace.
You gotta be dry.
for about 90 minutes.
Okay.
And
So
then
quite
it
a
will
bit.
start oxidizing fat. Yeah,
Quite a bit.
That's what they're saying. That's what the research
Okay.
suggests.
Okay. So you haven't eaten anything for a day and a half, and you've ran for an hour and a half. Now your body is going to start burning fat.
Mhm.
What does that mean?
Well, it's going to be burning fat as a process of just oxidizing and getting the fat moving into your bloodstream and then burning some of it, especially if you're in a caloric deficit and you've been fasting. But it's going to be a very minuscule amount. It's the rest of what happens over the course of the rest of the 22 and a half hours of the day, what your body's doing. Because 70% of the calories that you burn throughout the day are just the cost to keep the lights on. It's just you existing.
Yes.
Heart beating, breathing.
Assuming you're
moving.
doing things and not sitting on the couch
Right.
watching a
So,
Netflix show.
But even that, this is the thing that blew my mind today, is that they found that one of the things that creates
This is cool.
this oxidization and moving of fat and actually burns a ton of calories is two things. One, fidgeting. Somebody who's tapping a pen a lot, somebody who's constantly moving, fidgeting, tapping your leg.
Yeah.
That kind of low level
Motion.
that's constant throughout a day is going to burn a ton of calories. So if you've ever known
Listen to the
somebody-
second one though. It's
yeah,
kind
the
of crazy.
second one really blows my mind, and the reason is because this triggers the release of adrenaline, like
Epinephrine.
epinephrine
Epinephrine.
in the
Yeah.
body, which which is what creates the mobilization of fat and the oxidization. It increases that.
Mobilization being like the release into
it
the
breaks the
processing.
bond, moves it into the bloodstream so it can be oxidized. The second one really blew my mind, and it's shivering.
Oh.
So when you're cold, right, you get out of a cold shower, or it's cold, and you start shivering. That
Can you
process
simulate shivering?
burns
Shivering. You can't.
tons and tons. Of
Hold
fat.
on, I want to see both of you try to simulate shimmering, not shivering.
If
Shimmering.
she can do shimmering, she's got to break out the
Shimmer.
makeup. So shivering.
Yes.
And shout out to Dr. Huberman, and if you want to learn more about this, go check out his stuff. Go check out his podcast because he breaks this all down very, very scientifically. It's a little dry, and there's a lot of big words. It's not as entertaining as this, but definitely amazing stuff.
It's because he's not drinking whiskey.
And for good reason.
You're not drinking whiskey either, bitch.
So, but one of the ways, what would you say would be the way that you would safely induce shivering?
By going into
Ice plunge.
cold water.
Mm-hmm.
Ice plunge.
Ice plunge or even a cold shower.
Cold shower. I'd love taking a cold shower.
When I was pregnant, I lived on cold showers because I went through the whole summer pregnant, and it was just like I was so hot on fire all the time that cold showers were the best.
You like learn a lot about your mental like dexterity when you get your body into cold water.
Right.
Like that's where it's like your body doesn't need to be out of it, but mentally you want to get out of it.
Do you remember the ice bucket challenge?
Quick disclaimer for anyone watching: we are not telling you to go dunk yourself in ice water and lose weight.
It's so good for you, though.
It is, but
it's really good for you physically.
It is, but there has to be this disclaimer because people will do stuff. There is a protocol that you have to follow, and you should check with your doctor before you do it to make sure that it's safe. Because there have been people that submerged themselves in freezing temperatures and their heart stopped and it was bad. So please, before you decide to do any kind of plunge or any kind of this kind of thing, make sure you check with your doctor.
Listen,
Okay.
A lukewarm shower, though, is not going to hurt you. I mean,
we're
slowly.
we don't have enough people watching to have to throw in disclaimers. But we've all seen the Titanic, and nobody wants to be Jack.
Nobody wants to be
Don't
Jack.
be Jack.
I'm sorry, but I have to say something about that. There was enough room on that raft.
There was
that you could have
that.
Come
First of all, it wasn't a raft; it was a door.
I don't care.
It was a fucking door.
She could have moved her big behind over.
Definitely
and made room.
enough room on the door for Jack. But also, do you think she was enough out of the water to like not induce hypothermia? Because I feel like it's sometimes colder outside of the water than in the water, and I feel like she was more likely to get hypothermia being out of the water than he was being in the water.
I agree, because he was a stick, and let's be real, she was thick. I'm just gonna put it out there.
That's not where I was gonna go with that at all. Look at Anna's the disappointment in her face.
I'm just embarrassed.
That part of that movie.
Well,
I am just mad
embarrassed.
about that movie. I'm mad that I sat in a theater for 3 hours having to pee because the movie was 3 hours long and all I could see was rushing water. Vendetta against that movie. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
I think I saw it in the theater 3 times.
Why is shivering? But you didn't.
Yeah,
we
shivering.
We didn't get to the explanation of why shivering burns more fat than. What was the other option? Fidgeting.
Fidget. So both of them do the same thing. They release.
Anyway,
They release the
fat.
the adrenaline. They release
adrenaline.
the chemicals in your body that help mobilize the fat.
Put your phone away, woman.
I was about to Marco Polo, our 42-day detox group, to try to get some more viewers.
We're fine. We're good. We're chilling. That's the number one problem with live streaming is looking at that view count. Don't look at it. Act like you have 500 viewers there.
Okay.
100% of the
I'm
time.
still thinking Marco Polo.
I think you should.
Put your phone away.
Do it.
No
Do it.
pain,
You
no
can use
gain.
Siri, but she can't do Marco Polo.
I don't have to. This is the difference. Is I don't have to take my. Oh.
We are live right now on a podcast. So if you want to join us, get on Facebook. and join us.
And
And
meet our fun friend.
excuse Austin.
Don't know. I don't need
Any
no excuses.
questions are welcome. Come on.
Come on.
Yes, come on.
Double ons. No more pink lemonade for you, woman.
Hey, Wes, jump on the pod.
Isn't Marco Polo like
live
a
stream.
isn't Marco Polo like a video sharing thing? Like you send one video to a person.
And someone
It's
was
like
just watching
Snapchat, but it's just video.
Yeah, and we have a whole
We have a group though.
You have a group?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say why am I not part of that group, but I don't have Marco Polo, so it's okay.
Well, you can download it.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not
I
gonna have
don't.
you in our group, but
I
we can do
don't.
our own logo.
I don't want it.
So you can communicate with people randomly, like just send them a video and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you."
I don't
Just
need that
like
in my
text
life.
message, but you can do that.
That's like the most.
Your wife is gone for like a couple of months. You should totally do that.
That's like the most disconnected form of communication I've ever seen in my life. I'd rather be
Well,
like,
it's better live.
I miss you.
But you know what? You don't have to have that awkward conversation like you did earlier.
It's not
Like,
awkward. It's
you're
only
like, "Hey,
awkward if
I gotta go. We're starting a podcast.
that's more awkward. It's more awkward of like, hey, by the way, I decided to pull my phone out, even though in 5 minutes I have to stop with my phone out because I gotta go do this thing. But I'm gonna tell you about it. But then I gotta act like I
Look,
gotta put my phone down, even
We have
though
a viewer.
even
It
though
works.
I didn't need it out in the first place.
Hi, friend. Thank you for joining us.
Anyway,
So shivering.
shivering's good for you,
Shivering's good for you.
even though it mentally sucks
It
balls.
burns
But
calories.
I mean, it's
not
good for you
fun.
in those ways too.
Did you
It
explain-
causes mental fortitude.
Did you explain why it burns calories?
Yes,
think you
it
did.
burns calories because it releases
Adrenaline.
the adrenaline. But think about how you feel when you're shivering. That is an involuntary movement.
Yeah,
that is,
it's a
like,
muscle thing.
fast and rapid. Like your body is like tremoring, and it requires.
Do you know why you shiver?
I don't know exactly.
It's a
why.
muscle spasm to pump blood into the extremities of your muscle cells to create heat.
There you go.
Did I just blow your mind?
You blew
Did
my
you
mind.
did you not expect me to know that?
I did not. I'm proud of you. So, but that in and of itself, right there, I mean, you're burning a ton of calories.
No, and that's probably
Dr.
why.
Human says doing it 1 to 3 times a week is sufficient for an additional calorie and fat burn. So, something to think about. I mean,
It's probably why I'm so thin. They keep my classroom 68 degrees, so I'm shivering all the time.
mhm.
Is that funny?
Just kidding. I'm not actually shivering because I'm moving and teaching and very active in my classroom, but they do keep it that cold.
Have you ever seen those like inflatable ice plunge things? I thought about buying one of those because I really want. I take cold showers
haven't.
all the time, like after I've worked out or I don't usually do it after I run because running. I don't feel like running really works your muscles. It works your like.
Yeah, it's more of a cardio.
Yeah, it's a cardio and a
and
mental thing more than a physical thing.
It's true.
But anytime I'm like extremely tired from an activity or I've like strained a muscle, I like make myself take a cold shower because you can feel the like reaction of your like muscles to cold.
Well, they
And-
tell you to ice something if you injure it.
Exactly. And that's like I've thought about buying one of I mean I probably will eventually buy one of those like ice plunge machine. They're not machines, but they're like it's like the opposite of a hot tub
Right.
because the physical benefits of it are huge. Even
There's
ones
so
you
many.
even the ones you don't feel. Like it's supposed to alleviate. I mean, it's inflammation. Any like you said, arthritis or like any sort of buildup on your bones or joints. An ice plunge for 5 minutes, which is a long time,
It's a
is
long time.
huge for
Yeah.
that.
Well, and the protocol that they were talking about was get in for like a minute or less, get out, but don't dry off.
Just let yourself be cold.
Let yourself in. And this is the fat burning protocol.
Yes.
This is like there's other like staying there for 5 minutes for other health benefits, but this is the fat burning protocol because what we're trying to get our body to do is to shiver.
Yeah.
And
You want the reaction.
right. And what they say is that like naturally when you feel like you want to shiver, you typically
She's
try-
shivering, but more like jiggling.
You-
Like it's just-
you try not to shiver. You try to stop your body from shivering, and then you can't.
It's
help
just
it.
a mental reaction.
What they're saying is Don't fight it.
I gotta
Let
pee.
your body shiver. Let your body
just
actually do that. Let your body shake. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Honestly, I think that's why fast feet as an exercise is really
Mm-hmm.
good because your whole body is shaking. You're going like this with your feet, and everything is shaking.
And there was so much good stuff in those studies. And what I appreciated about Dr. Huberman is he started with the basics. He said, everything that I'm about to tell you means nothing if you're not in a calorie deficit. If you're eating more calories than you're burning, it doesn't matter how much you shiver. It doesn't matter how much you fidget. You're not going to lose weight. And he started with that as the basic principle of thermogenesis, right? You have to be burning more calories than you're consuming. And then he talked about, the basics of just being healthy and optimizing, weight loss benefits. If you're not sleeping correctly, if you're not sleeping, 7 to 8 hours a night, that's completely working against what you're trying to do. You're going to increase your cortisol levels. Sleeping, and this is another thing that, Austin, I wanted to tell you that we talked about how when your judgment is impaired because you're drinking.
What?
When your judgment is impaired because you're drinking, and
What?
And then you eat more,
What?
or you make poor choices with food.
I don't
You
do
heard
that.
me.
I
You
don't
heard
do
me.
that.
Okay.
I don't do
The
that.
same thing happens when you're sleep deprived. Being sleep
Yes.
deprived, having even 1 week of 5 hours of sleep or missing a couple hours of sleep each night can be the same as being intoxicated in terms of your mental judgment. When you're sleep deprived, you're more likely to overeat. You're more likely to not have that stopgap in your brain that says, I shouldn't make this choice. I should make a healthier choice, or I should stop eating. When you're tired and sleep deprived, you're more likely to overeat and make poor choices.
Wait, question on that. So, food is energy, right? If you're sleep deprived and you decide to eat more to up your energy, what's that do for you? Is that
It
good or bad?
depends on what you're eating.
Protein.
It really doesn't depend
Protein.
on what you're eating. It really doesn't, because if your food is going to store for energy to be used when it's activated. Food isn't like caffeine. You don't eat something and go, oh, I feel like going and doing something, right?
Ooh, I don't
And if
know.
you
I don't know about
overeat-
that.
If you overeat,
I don't
you
know about that.
definitely don't want to do something. You want to lay there and
I'd probably push back on that a little bit, because when I'm like extra tired, I find that if I eat like not necessarily mostly it's got to be a high protein meal, like eggs and some bacon and like a steak, which, I mean, I'm not building a meal, but like something that's high protein, and I eat it, I immediately feel a burst of energy.
Okay.
versus a high like carbohydrate meal, like a sub sandwich or something.
Okay, so here's what you're talking about. You're talking about being sleep deprived and fasted. So whether you're sleep deprived or not, if you're fasted,
mostly just sleep deprived.
right.
So say you eat lunch, and then you work a 12-hour shift. You've been awake for 20 hours. You wake up, you eat breakfast, you are awake for 5 or 6 hours, you eat lunch, and then you work a 12-hour shift where you eat like a granola bar, which is not a meal, but so you've been awake for 20 hours,
right,
and you're tired. You're sleep deprived at that point. Anytime you're over like 18 house, you're sleep deprived, right? Then you eat like a 18-ounce porterhouse steak.
I got this.
That would pump into you, right?
Yeah. Here's what's going on with that. You ready?
Tell me.
Because it's going to increase your metabolic thermogenesis. It's going to increase the
What is it? Well, hold on.
thermic effect of food.
Okay, which
means you're digesting that food, and so your body is going to heat
burning
up.
it.
It's digesting it, so it's going to be burning more calories because your body is doing an extra process to get rid of that food. And protein is the most taxing macronutrient for the digestive system. So
process.
Protein takes the longest and most work to process. So if you eat a huge old steak right before you go to bed, no matter how tired you are, it might keep you up because your
system's
your
working
system's
harder.
heating up.
Okay.
It's processing that food, and it's having to work really hard if it's a lot of protein.
So theoretically, it's like a false sense of energy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So protein is a false sense of energy on a sleep deprived and fasting diet.
Right. You're better off getting good quality regular sleep. And then I think another thing that's important about that is making sure that your rhythms of sleep and your rhythms of eating are as consistent as you can get them. Most people they are.
So question, is breakfast the most important meal of the day?
Your breakfast is your breakfast, is when you break your fast.
I don't know.
That's
I
not
don't
an answer
ever
to
eat
the-
breakfast.
We don't
I
ever
don't eat breakfast.
But technically everybody eats.
But sometimes I love eating breakfast.
But listen,
Breakfast is
if
delicious.
you break down the word break fast,
yes. Okay,
everybody eats
okay.
breakfast.
But
It's just about what time you eat it.
do you feel like eating within, say, 2 hours of waking up versus 6 hours of waking up is more beneficial to your day than eating 6 hours?
That's a great question.
Only if you're a high performance athlete. Then it is. Then it's
Oh,
important.
you gotta elaborate on that.
Okay, let's get into
Why?
it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
why is eating 2 hours? Hold on, let me phrase this the correct way. This is the whiskey. Why is eating 6 hours after waking up better than eating 2 hours
It depends
after
on,
waking
it
up?
depends on when you're training. When are you training?
Define training.
Exercise, running.
Okay,
Burning,
so let's use
burning.
you as an
Working out.
example, okay?
Okay.
We
What?
are
No,
gonna
he's a
say-
freak of nature. Well, he's not a freak of nature, but he chooses to wake up at like 4 in the morning and go work out.
Right.
Shh,
he-
no
he's-
pain, no
okay.
gain.
So then let's use me as an example.
Let's use the average normal person who's not on your 42-day detox or
Yeah.
fitness program. Let's use
That's-
Mary Jane.
That's me. Well, okay.
You
I'm
work
not
out
on
more
the
than
detox.
no, but you work out more than normal people do.
She
I
works
do.
out more than
You
me.
do. You
But
fill your rings every
yes.
day.
I do.
We're not going to use you as an
But-
example. I'm cutting you off.
But
No.
we only exercise for half an hour a day.
An average person probably doesn't do that. They probably
You're
do that
probably right.
once a week, maybe.
You're probably right.
So the average person either doesn't work out or works out minimally. That person, why is it better for them to eat 6 hours after waking up versus 2 hours after waking up?
The answer for that person is it doesn't matter. It's up to what works for them.
Mm.
Is that average
about the
person trying to
calories.
lose weight? Is that average person trying to be on a fitness journey, or are they not caring?
I don't know, either or. Give me
Let's-
both.
Let's say they're trying to be on a fitness journey, then prolonging when they start eating could help them stay in a
So say
calorie
they're trying to
deficit.
lose 30 pounds.
Okay.
That's a healthy number to lose in an X amount of 6 months.
Then
3
I,
months.
Then I have
6 months?
then I have two
6 months
things
is a
that
good
I'll
time.
say. I would say that if it works for them and their lifestyle, if they can manage it, if it's sustainable for them, if they can do it every day for a long period of time.
Not eating
then
until
yes.
6 hours after waking up.
Yes, if they're able to do that, if that fits in their lifestyle, if they're capable of doing that long term, then yes, because anybody can do something for 2 or 3 weeks.
What
But can they do that year after year?
But what makes them able to do that? It's a
do it.
mental
Personal
thing.
preference.
It's a mental thing. It's
It's a mental
100%.
thing. It's 100%.
It's
mental.
the idea of waking up and eating something because either you're bored or it's just a habit or because you feel like you need the energy
Mhm.
versus actually needing the energy until 6 hours later. So do you think that somebody who has been asleep for say 8 hours needs that food to raise their energy levels more than at that point in time? Or do they need it 6 hours later?
It depends on what they're doing. It
Does
depends on-
sleeping burn intake?
Yeah.
Is the question.
Yeah, you're burning calories while you're sleeping.
How?
Your body's moving. You're breathing.
You're
Your
existing.
heart's pumping blood. You're fidgeting.
So you're saying that
Those are your coma calories.
so-
You would burn calories if you were in a coma.
so you're saying that eating within an hour of going to sleep doesn't affect you at all.
It does affect you.
In what way?
It affects you in that, and what it really depends on is how frequently you do it. What's your pattern? if you eat every single night right before you go to bed, your system has adjusted and adapted to that. So you've been able to adapt to your stomach digesting and the level of heat
Your
that
stomach digests
gets
at
to.
night?
Yes.
What?
You digest food while you
Everybody
sleep.
says that it's bad to eat right before you go to sleep.
Well, that is
a myth.
huge myth.
Wah, wah,
Busted.
wah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Busted
matter.
myth.
See what I did there?
But if typically you eat like at 5 o'clock at night, that's when you eat dinner, and then one night you end up eating dinner a little bit later.
Like 7:30?
Yeah, you might find that you have a harder time sleeping that night. You might have some indigestion. You might have a harder time sleeping. That is one thing that's typical.
So indigestion affecting your sleep is more relevant than how much or how many calories you're bringing in before you sleep.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like
It's not necessarily about the amount of calories as much as it is
it's
the timing
how
of
it affects you.
Yeah.
Is more relevant. That makes sense.
I mean, obviously, if you're eating like some super spicy curry or Thai food,
That's a whole nother problem, buddy.
you might have some issues sleeping. You might have some problems.
Aceria.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor? Yeah. Can you grab that bottle of Jack Daniels that's in there too, please? I remember at the beginning of this when I said, "Is this bottle of whiskey going to be big enough for the?" How long have we been doing here? Almost 2 hours. Do you
This
see
is the longest?
Do you see the difference here?
I do see
And
the difference.
how many more little pieces? Like, we're not looking at the viewer count. We've got Ida up in here. We got a couple people talking, but we've just been sitting here bullshitting for 2 hours, and you're not thinking about what you're saying. We're just talking.
Yes. Now you got me in my head. Now you messed everything.
I
up.
can tell because of the way your voice. But
Um.
you're gonna how much more stuff do you got to post here now?
Oh my God. Tons.
Like
So,
a fucking beluga whale.
There's something that you were saying that was
Yeah, we'll start with that.
you were saying something that was like
Getting
me on a track of somewhere, because you were talking about
Burning while you sleep.
burning while you sleep. But so a lot of people, there's been this huge craze about intermittent fasting, right? This huge
Yes.
I have to not eat before I go do my workout.
You have to spend
because
X
I'm gonna
amount of
burn
time
more
between
fat.
eating.
And this is something that there's been really pretty conclusive evidence about that
Words are hard.
makes the point.
Okay.
Like really
That drives that home.
puts the nail in the coffin. Okay, and this is the point where anybody watching, you have to be super careful about what you read on the internet and the articles, because they'll take these things and they'll take one piece of evidence and they'll spin it in a way that you read it and you go, I have to start fasting before I train. But
I don't think I would. That's not the way I would go ever.
But some people take those things.
That's not
and-
intermittent fasting, though. Intermittent fasting is just the amount of time between times you eat.
Right. But
But
a lot
people
of
apply that to working out.
Maybe I'm not using that right. Not intermittent fasting, but they're saying, you should exercise in a fasted state. So here's the deal. Here's how this works.
That just sounds bad to me in general.
Well, and I do that. I don't like eating before I train, but it has nothing to do about the benefits or fat loss or muscle gain or
Just
anything.
how you feel.
It's just I don't like eating a bunch of food before I go lift heavy things or do jujitsu. I don't want some,
And I don't
I
care.
don't want to have to fight this, other 250-pound man. Well, I have.
It's like I'm gonna go lift 200 pounds. Do you want to eat 20 McNuggets before it or after it? It's just you don't feel good when you do it. Yeah.
It really comes down to personal preference. So here's the deal.
Yeah,
well,
I'll
nobody
eat
feels
before I
good
work
after
out.
they.
And I kind of alluded this earlier. If you're fasted, you haven't
Which
had
means you
anything
haven't-
to eat within 2 to 3 hours of exercising. Okay? If you're
Okay.
exercising in a fasted state, and if the exercise that you're doing is like moderate cardio, you're jogging,
You're
you
just
can
working
still
your body.
talk,
You're working your body a little
you
bit.
would have to exercise for at least 90 minutes in a fasted state at steady state cardio before you would have some additional fat burning effect.
Additional being more than you would typically burn
Correct.
if you were running not in a fasted state.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I went to the
And
bathroom.
those,
I missed
and
something
those
here.
effects
Yeah.
are statistically insignificant. So if I'm a performance athlete who's trying to cut weight for some competition, yeah, I'm absolutely going to train in a fasted state. Now, if you're
Because it's minuscule, but
it's
it does
minuscule.
count.
It does count. If you're in a fasted state, but you're doing like hardcore, intense sprinting, HIIT workouts, or sit workouts,
Like you're training to be in Lord of the Rings and invade
like
Helm's Deep.
hardcore CrossFit
Yeah.
sprinting, like 100% effort, then they're saying 20 minutes to 60 minutes. Or I'm sorry, 20 to 60 minutes of hardcore vigorous exercise,
which becomes
before-
relevant to a
Right,
normal
so
person.
If I'm trying to cut weight for a tournament, I would train fasted, go
Yeah,
hard
sure.
for 30 minutes, and then do some slow, steady state cardio, and I would have more fat burning effects. For the average person who's not trying to be a performance athlete,
That's not what they do.
it does not matter. The
Yeah.
results, the benefit that you're going to get is like statistically insignificant. It's not worth it. It's not sustainable. Eat when you want to eat, people. Eat what's sustainable and comfortable for you.
You tell them.
If you can eat a meal and go work out, do that. If you prefer to not eat and then go work out, do that. It doesn't matter.
I actually like working out like right after I wake up when technically I've
Yeah,
fasted for
yeah,
like 10 hours or 8
But it's
hours.
just a preference.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like that, and other times I'll wake up first thing in the morning and work out, and then feel exhausted the rest of the day.
Mm.
So it just
Well, that probably depends on
depends.
the workout, right? Like if you do something that's physically exhausting.
yeah.
I don't really do any workouts that are physically exhausting. I just make myself move and sweat, basically. It's like
That's
I'm not
good. See, I work out pretty hard, but
like if you're
don't sweat a lot.
if
but-
you're like doing something that works out your biceps and your
Right.
biceps get tired, that's where I'd feel like you feel drained for that specific body part after doing the workout.
Right, and
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
so important that you brought that up because
Especially the next day.
Yeah.
there's a huge
Leg day.
difference between doing like just cardio, like just going for
Yeah.
a run, and then doing like resistance training, like weightlifting.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing like when you go for a run, when you go for like a good run, you're running at a good pace, you're breathing and
You're making your body burn energy.
right. You're actually burning more calories while doing that particular activity than you would be lifting
Than
weights.
stressing one specific
Right.
muscle.
But once that exercise is done, once that 30-minute to an hour run or however long you run is done, you're really not burning that many calories after your body goes back to its homeostasis of just typical what it usually burns. However, when you lift weights, when you do resistance training, when you create tears in the muscles, when you
Tensions in a specific
when you
spot.
stress the muscle, when you stimulate the muscle tissue, then
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I need you to pause. Don't finish that because
Stimulate
you
the
looked me in the
muscle
eyes
tissue.
and said stimulate your muscle tissue, and I
Yeah.
fucking
you
can't.
gotta take it there. Drink your drink. Shut up.
No.
So when that happens, then for the rest of the 23 hours of the day, that muscle tissue is repairing, it's growing, and that process, just like when you digest food, is requiring energy, and it's using more calories, and it's increasing your metabolism.
Oh, really? So you're saying that if you work out one specific area, like I'm just going to use biceps because dudes care about their arms. If you're working out your biceps and you do an arm workout for, an hour and you get swole as shit, you get the pump. Arnold quote there. The amount of energy you burn repairing that is equal to the amount of time you run.
Not necessarily equal, but in terms,
But
I would
close.
say
It's similar.
the amount of calories that you burn in general over the course of 24 hours is exponentially more than you would burn during a run. Because remember, the amount of calories, the 5% of calories are burned through exercise. Only in a course of an entire day, only 5% of the calories you burn are through deliberate exercise.
Okay.
70%
Are in the repair.
are just your
Or the
body's
reaction.
natural autonomic function. So you burn more calories just existing. So if your body is doing something and healing itself and digesting food and breathing and surviving, if you can turn your body into a fat burning machine by building more lean muscle mass.
Burning machine.
I'm really glad you said that because we should elaborate on this. Fat burning
burning
machine.
machine.
Yes, ASMR.
Dun dun dun. Fat burning machine. If you can turn your body into a fat burning machine.
This is going to be the new
If
commercial.
you
for the
can turn your
42
body into
Listen,
a
ladies.
fat burning machine.
Are you overweight? Are you feeling heavier than
Oh,
usual?
Jesus.
gosh.
Turn your body into a fat building machine.
Where is Peaches when we
Peaches?
eat?
Peaches.
That's like weird though to think that. So say you oh my god, I did it the other day, ran the 5 miles. Say you run 5 miles versus in an hour versus doing a 30-minute like bicep workout that is strenuous and like it like rips your muscle apart, and you feel more exhausted in your arms than like your whole body.
Okay, so
That your body has to react to repairing
Now,
its muscles.
there is a point of diminishing returns.
Oh
with
fuck!
resistance training. So you don't want to.
You don't want to like
work out
break
your-
yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to.
You want to get
destroy
to
your
a
muscles
point
the
where it
point
has to
where-
repair.
Right, because
yeah.
what you want to do is you want to progressively overload so that this time maybe I do, maybe I did 10 reps today. Next week when I do that same lift, I'm going to do 12 reps.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just enough.
A little
to
bit
increase
more.
that
Yeah.
gradually, so that
It's the idea of like
built.
I'm going to call it building scar tissue, but it's not actually scar tissue, but you break the muscle,
Yeah.
and then it builds a layer of scar tissue, and then you
Exactly.
break the scar tissue and you
Mhm.
put another layer on it, and then you break, and
Right.
it's
But if
it's
you
like
could
a layered
also
effect.
damage it beyond
Yeah.
repair, so you want to stimulate, not on
Yeah, you don't want to rip it so that there can't be any scar
Right.
tissue.
Right.
Yeah.
And you also you do hit a point of diminishing returns with lifting where those people that go to their
Stop petting his muscles.
I
Where-
just started.
3 lemonades deep,
where-
and she's petting your muscles.
No, I just put my hand on his shoulder. And my
where we go to that 1 rep
Mhm.
max where you just can't, where you completely
Yeah.
fail. When
Or
get
you
to that
do
point-
fail.
Right, or you
Yeah.
do fail and you have to have someone pick up.
Yeah.
That may help with strength gains over time, but in terms of building healthy, lean muscle,
It's not good for you.
it's not good because then you can't, the next set that you do, you're not going to be able to push that hard. The
So
next
talk
day
about-
that you train.
Talk about what I'm doing.
What are you doing? Well, why don't you talk about it? You can't just
Okay.
sit over there and pet his muscles.
I mean, you can.
What are
if
you
want.
referencing?
Well, my exercise includes HIIT training, which is
Punching
Hi-
him in the hands.
high intensity interval training.
High
Where-
intensity HIT
HIIT.
HIT.
HIIT training. HIIT
Height.
training. Yeah.
That'll be height. Grammatically correct.
So
But anyway.
with that, it's a lot of movement that is kinesthetic, that is moving. You're just moving your body, and getting your heart rate up,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Sweating.
Sweating. I do
Give or
some-
take the sweat.
I do some
It's just-
kickboxing. I do some dance workouts, stuff like that. So
Dancing is huge.
You
Like
think
people
so?
discount dancing.
Well, your
It's
your
a
heart rate
physically
gets up.
demanding. Yeah.
It
Physically
can be.
demanding.
Yeah, it can be for sure. For me, it's fun. It's a fun workout to do. But I am not lifting all the time. Do I lift? Yes. Do I lift heavy? No.
Yeah. You're not going to go lift 150
unless-
pounds.
Well, I'll lift I'll do 100 pounds on inner thighs.
I mean,
and
I'm
outer
not
thighs,
like trying to assign a number,
But no, I'm not going to lift.
You're not
with
going to
my
go up there and do
arms. I'm not
10
gonna go
reps
up
of
there and do-
150
she's
pounds.
not
Not even 25.
powerlifting.
I'll do.
yeah.
I'll do
She's not doing like a
5-pound weights.
snatch
Like
or a
literally,
clean.
I'll do
Yes.
5-pound weights, but do like
100
do-
reps.
yeah, do
yeah,
it for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's a lot different than
Doing
Um,
150 pounds 5 times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm asking you, with what I'm doing, how is that keeping me where I'm at? And because you're saying you build on reps and all of this.
Right.
And most of that is for building muscle, but specifically for me, you know, I have built some muscle. You can see lines in my arms.
I'm not gonna call you swole.
But I'm not swole. I'm
Right.
not a beast.
And she's not
I'm
trying.
not.
She's
Yeah,
not.
And I'm not trying to
Fir-
be.
First of all, this is a typical thing that a lot of women worry about. They
I'm
worry
gonna fucking
that
call you
they-
out every single time you put that sales voice
Well,
on.
it's not the sales voice.
It's a sales voice.
It is a typical
You.
thing. that
This
a
is
lot
what
of
you do. You
women-
step forward and you look at that camera. Don't look at the camera.
Because we're just having a conversation.
We are. That's the
Okay.
best. That's the best thing.
But
You're
this is
telling your
something that a
wife,
lot
I
of
just asked you a
this is
question.
something
Yeah,
that a lot of-
Anna just
I mean,
asked you a question.
This
Why
is
you
even something
talk to
that-
her? Why are you
this is
talking to the
even something
camera?
that you've brought up. You've brought up like, you know, I don't want to like I build muscle really fast. I don't want to get all huge and jacked. And the reality is
Most women don't.
they don't, and because men have
Right.
17
They won't-
times the serum testosterone that women do. Any of those women that you see on social media that are just like ripped and have bigger arms than me, I promise you they're either on some kind of
Steroid.
performance enhancing steroid, or they're
Yeah.
actually taking
Taking
PRP.
testosterone.
Yeah, they really are. Women just don't have the propensity to develop muscle mass the way that men do, and that's okay.
So all of these advertisements and videos of doing Pilates on the wall, and the girl has a six-pack that looks like yours.
First of all,
You're
I'm gonna
telling me
put out
that
there.
she's on testosterone.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I was gonna say.
She doesn't talk, but you're telling me that she's probably on steroids. or
She has bigger
testosterone.
balls than anybody in this room.
He said it.
Yeah, it's you.
The
You don't
marketing.
get a six pack like that if you're not on testosterone.
But what is
Okay.
common? Here's a couple things that are common for women is getting toned and lean, and having enough natural muscle mass that you keep the fat percentage. Here's what you're doing is you're doing exercises that one work for you and that you can do sustainably long term. Like if I put you on a strict like lifting regimen, you'd
Yeah.
get the same results, but you'd quit in a month because you're sick of it.
Which is the strenuous activity on one muscle group. Right.
Well, on various muscle groups.
Yeah,
but,
but
like,
you spread it, but
we-
it's
we go.
And I do
have
that
her,
even with my hit videos.
But
and
I have her go
all
do
that.
like lifts at the gym, like I do, like maybe
like you do or
once a week.
lighter.
a lot lighter.
much lighter, but the same exercises. Like we went to the gym on Monday.
It's the same muscle
and
stresses.
we both took turns doing like squats on the squat rack, and we both did deadlifts, because I think that's important for her muscle development, muscle structure, to still stimulate those that way every now and then. She doesn't need it every day, and I know that if I had her do it that way every day, she'd get sick of it. It wouldn't be enjoyable anymore. And it has to be sustainable.
And we were doing legs and ass, and I want to lift my butt. So
You want to lift your butt, or
I
you want to
it
make your butt
lifted.
Oh,
I want it
Yeah,
nice
you
and
want-
firm.
You want
and
it
lifted and
bubblicious?
round and bubblicious.
not quite Nicki Minaj, but
Not
close.
quite. Right.
It's gonna
Not.
take a lot of plastic surgery to get Nikki level.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just
no
one balloon.
plastic surgery
It's
for
one
me.
balloon. It's one balloon. Listen, you just need one balloon.
but
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 no, but what you're doing is more like extended. It's like short intervals, extended versus long periods focusing on one thing,
Right.
with
or in bursts.
shorter reps.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
30
Yeah.
minutes of like one exercise for like 20 to 60 seconds, and then a certain period of
Yeah.
rest, and then another.
Which is
Well, the one I
essentially
did
just
today
moving.
was 60 seconds on no rest, 60 seconds, 60 seconds, 60 seconds.
Mhm.
You know,
But
and
how long did you do that?
30 minutes.
Oof,
So it's 20 exercises.
that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Are you sore?
No.
Well, but you've been doing it.
She does it every day.
Yeah.
Now, she was sore after we hit the gym and we lifted because that was novel. And I think it's
Actually, I was sore after we hit the gym more because the day before I did arms on a video. And
you were using
even with those 8-pound weights and 5-pound weights that I was using, it was still just hard.
Well, and here's the thing: there's a lot of trainers that will tell you that you have to like be in the gym and you have to lift weights. And there's no way you could get fit doing calisthenics
No.
And you
That
have
was
to have
something I
low-
asked.
and
I call
that's
bullshit on that
not
any day.
True.
Yeah.
You can stimulate your muscles. Like, let me tell you, drop down and do a push-up.
You can
And
do
I want
fucking
you-
high knees for
I want
30 minutes and burn
the-
so
not-
many calories.
Not even that. Not even calories.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I dare you to do a push-up that takes an entire minute.
What's amazing to me is the amount of people that can't even do 10 push-ups. That
That
is
most
not
people.
it's a lot of people.
I
It's
couldn't do
so
10
many people.
push-ups a year
Which
ago.
that is not that hard. You are lifting your own body weight 10
well, especially
times.
women. Women can't do push-ups.
No, that's why they have like
And
the
that
girl
sounds-
push-ups,
it
which is
sounds sexist,
crazy.
But I'm a woman. Yeah.
That's real life, and
It
that
is real
blows my mind. And it's funny because Jackson has said, like, who could do the most push-ups? Well, I can do one, and I don't think that my wife could do one. She can't. That's just regular. I mean,
I
that's
couldn't do
common.
one.
That's so common. Yeah, unless you're like mentally aware of it and you have worked your body to train those muscles. And that's not that hard of a exercise.
The push-up. So here's something interesting. The push-up is not a typical exercise. The push-up is actually a calisthenic. Like, there's not many situations in life where you're going to
Where you
need
create that
to
situation.
just push up
Or a
without
pull-up.
using your knees.
But you could do the same thing with a pull-up.
But the deadlift, the bending over and picking something up, is biologically necessary to be strong enough to do. Why? You have a child.
You do
You have
things
to
that
reach
all the
down,
time.
You
Yeah.
pick the child up.
Yeah.
You have something you need to get. You have to bend down as just a biped creature.
It's a
Firewood.
movement you
pick
do
up, right.
regularly.
And that's why I believe the deadlift is one of the most important exercises.
Interesting. Do you
because
think
you're going
that
to bend down and pick stuff up
you just
as
have
a
to?
human?
And I feel like there's a majority of people that hurt themselves. Like a debilitating injury is when, like, probably you could probably come up with a percentage, and it's probably like 70 or 80% of people hurt their backs by bending over and picking something up in the wrong way. And if you did a workout where you just learned to bend your knees and keep your back straight and lift, you wouldn't have that. You would eliminate probably 60% of that.
Not even that. I think because they always say, like, you'll hear tropes about, like, you have to use your legs.
Yeah.
Don't use your back. But here's the thing, like, did anyone teach the cavemen that? Did anyone
No.
Did Cave Steve go up to Cave John?
Well,
and be
are you
"Oh,
talking about
Grr,
cavemen or
grr,
Neanderthals? Because
grr."
Neanderthals were built different. They actually had a curved spine.
But that's my point, is that we've evolved to that place where we're weaker here, which is why the
Yes.
deadlift is important, because you're
Keeping your
going
body
straight
mass
down,
centered.
and you're using your lumbar, but you're using your hamstrings and strengthening it, but
You're not lifting with your back.
You are lifting with your back. You're using your lats. You're using most of your muscle groups to do a deadlift.
Not your lower back.
Not your
though.
lower back. Yeah.
You're engaging it though.
But you're not, the
But you're
muscles of that are not doing the lift.
It's not the primary.
The pressure
muscle.
is not on that
Exactly.
muscle.
It's not the primary thing. The primary muscle engaged should be your hamstrings.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it, most people that do heavy deadlifting will notice that it affects their central nervous system. Like, you get like that, like, dizzy feeling.
Head rush.
A quick head rush, and it goes away quickly.
But the people that hurt themselves are the ones that bend straight over. Their knees are locked. They bend
Mhm.
straight over from the hip, and they just lift.
Right.
And
Never lock your knees.
Never
ever,
lock your
ever.
knees.
There should be a slight bend in the knees. But I think, if you're going to use weights to get stronger, I really do think the squat and the deadlift are two exercises that are
you think those are better?
vitally important for any kind of health or performance. across
Those
the
are better than push-ups or not squats, but crunches,
Yes.
deadlifts, and
If you're doing weightlifting, if you're doing actual
we
weight
all
at
do.
the gym.
But that's like the point, right? Is a majority of the time, like standard human being does deadlift, weightlifting in their normal life.
Mhm.
They just don't call it that.
Well, they should be if they're an active person.
If you're gonna go get a bag of dog food from Walmart,
right,
Where are you
Right.
picking it up from?
You
Where are you
should
picking
be
it?
picking
It's
it
a
up from the ground.
that's a 20-pound bag.
right. You should be.
How easy is it to pull
Or
out?
even more.
Yeah,
You have
20.
a big dog, it's a 40-pound
Yeah.
bag.
And that's, you don't think about it. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna pull it out from under here,
Mm.
and then I'm gonna lift it up with my back and throw it in my cart.
Well, the problem is when you sit at an office desk all day and then you drive places in your car everywhere you go, and you then go home and you sit on the couch and you watch Netflix for 6 hours,
Don't trash on
and then
Netflix.
you scroll on your phone for 3 more hours, and you go days without getting any physical activity or walking enough steps, then yeah, you're gonna go to Walmart and try to get a bag of dog food and throw it at your back.
You don't even think about it. You
Yeah.
just do it. I was kind of lucky because I was pretty young when I started working in like heavy production. And one of the first things I was taught was how to lift a 50-pound bag.
Yeah.
And it's, you bend your knees, you keep your back straight, and you use your arm straight
Mhm.
with your legs. And every single time I pick up anything, I think about that.
Yeah.
And it's, I can vividly picture the, like, you know, is probably made in like the 80s video that I was shown by the safety guy that was like, this is how to lift properly without pulling your back. And it showed like this stick figure bending, grabbing something and picking it up. And that's like not a thing a lot of people think of.
We
And
have to do what's called safe school trainings, and there's, tons of different categories. I could
this is at
sit
work,
here at work.
in the school.
In the schools, yeah. So I could sit here and list off all these things that we
Uh-huh.
have to do, but one of them is lifting
Yeah.
and how to lift properly and, how to protect your back and all of that, because not that you're lifting children or anything like that, but
It's just lifting in general.
just lifting in general.
Yeah.
Because just about in any job, you have to lift
It takes
something
one
sometime.
time, one time the wrong way, and you're done forever.
Exactly.
You
And
pull
there's
something, you break something.
liabilities and-
Yeah. I think it was like 83 or 84% of workplace injuries are lifting. And then the other
Yeah.
like 15% were slips. And then it was like 5% were accidents. But the majority of like workplace injuries based on like workman's comp were just the way you lift something. And
Lifting and then falling, right?
no, it's just lifting. Just
Lifting's the first
lifting.
one.
Yeah, it's just the way you lift something. And it can be any, and I mean, you look at a majority of like job descriptions and they're like, must be able to lift 50 pounds. That's usually what
Absolutely.
is on. It's probably 95% of job descriptions.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing with that is you must be able to lift 50 pounds, right? In a job interview, they don't have a 50-pound dumbbell, and they
No.
don't go
Lift
"Do you
that.
mind
Show me
go
how you
over
lift
and
that."
Pick
Yeah.
that up for me. And typically, you can see somebody who and know whether they'd be able to do that
Yeah.
safely or not, but you can't say anything.
No.
You would get in trouble.
I don't know
You
if that's
can't.
true.
As an employer,
You can't look at, as an employer, you can't look at somebody and go, I don't think you can lift 50 pounds.
Yeah,
You look-
because,
you
I
look
think you
pretty-
can.
You look pretty out of shape. You're pretty fat. Like,
No,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
you-
you couldn't pick up that dumbbell.
I
again.
think that if
That'd
you
be
have
discrimination.
no,
You'd
I
be
think that
canceled.
if you have the job responsibilities and one of them is lift 50 pounds and you can say that the person is not able to lift 50 pounds correctly, you can eliminate them from the job.
I'd love to hear about.
You know who we
One
should
field.
call?
I'd love
I
to
have
hear
an
it.
HR manager.
I want to hear. I want
Let's
to
ask
know
her.
one
Yeah.
place.
Ladies and
I wanna
gentlemen, we're
know.
going to do a call
Does
in.
anyone other than like
We're gonna call it right now.
Like
she's gonna be like, "You're still on that
showing up
podcast."
for like a
No, I'm going to
the
ask her
fire
right now.
department or the police
No.
force,
It's
where
if
you
it's
have
listed
to.
in there, it's fine.
If you can,
She's not
actually-
going to answer.
If you can go, hey, go pick up that 50-pound dumbbell.
Yeah,
that
if
50-pound
you
bag.
can prove that they can't match the job description that they're applying for, I think that you cannot hire them for the job. Because it's a
But they have to
pre-listed.
prove it. They have
Yes,
to prove it.
yes, but it's a pre-listed discrimination essentially. It's a pre-listed requirement, and they're not meeting the requirements. It's like saying I require a bachelor degree in something, and you don't have a bachelor degree, I can automatically not hire you. It's the same thing.
Well, going back to pound thing, if you are in a certain job that, in the description it says you must have to lift this amount of weight, but then you have some kind of an injury and you go to the doctor, right? In your paperwork, it's going to say, the restrictions, like you can't lift more than
You don't
10
match the
pounds or
requirements,
whatever.
so we don't have to hire you.
But
you have a medical
No.
note for
No.
it, so you can't fire me now. I've been your employee already.
That's
So-
different. That's different than hiring a new employee. They probably
is
have to
different.
provide you another option,
Right. They do.
and that and I
Yeah,
know
that's
this.
what I
I know this because Jen had a guy that cut his finger off while they were pruning the orchards,
Uh-huh.
and his doctor's note basically said that he was not allowed to use pruning equipment, which is a majority of their equipment. And so they came up with all these alternatives, and eventually I think what happened was they fired him because he refused to do some jobs that he could have done,
Right.
trying to use the excuse that I can't do that. And they're like, we have a very clear note from your doctor that says what you can and can't do,
Right.
and this is not one of them.
Right.
Right.
And it's the
But-
same thing with lifting 50 pounds. If you have on and that's why you'll see like a lot of like production facilities or places like that. And most of them, you don't even need to do it, but they'll put it on there and they'll say, you need to be able to lift 50 pounds. And they can have you in the interview lift 50 pounds. And if you can't
But
do
what
it,
I'm saying is they don't do that.
no, they don't.
They
don't.
They
Has
don't.
anyone been at a job interview that had that as a requirement where before they hired you, they actually asked you to pick up something heavy?
But
Like we used to joke at the psych hospital when we hired people, like, I'm going to lock you in the room with one of these crazy patients. And if you can, not cry, then you can work here. But we couldn't do that.
that's a loophole that any good HR person would close right away.
I agree.
Because
I
it's a
wanted-
lawsuit waiting to happen. I worked at a lumber mill where they said you have to lift 50 pounds. And if you couldn't lift 50 pounds, then they had a reason to not employ you.
There were times that I would look at people and I would ask my boss, because at the treatment center that I worked at, people used to have to do restraints. Like they would have physically have to
Oh,
restrain.
yeah.
And
Did
that
you
was-
have to have
that
like
You
was-
some,
have to, like, every day.
Yeah.
He makes it seem like it was every once in a while.
Oh, no, it was
it's
daily.
like 10
Yeah.
times a day.
Physically
there's a mental
restrained.
hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a treatment center that I worked at. And so when we were hire people, there were people that I saw that I like, you had to like,
You're like, I could smash you.
You had to do like a lunge. You had to take this person down. And we had some like big 14-year-old violent
Yeah.
teenagers.
They're
And
like
I would
6'1",
Yeah,
they're 200
I would look
pounds.
At some
Yeah,
of
yeah.
these people, and I would be like, try to visualize them doing this like lunge and take down and like get down off the ground. Not even doing the actual restraint, but actually like going through the training, because I was the trainer. I was like, can they even make it through the training without getting injured or hurt or that or hurting the client? And I almost wished like, okay, come into this room. I have the mat set out.
And let's
I'm gonna
try it.
walk you through this. We
Yeah.
have Joe here. Joe's gonna help us. We're gonna take Joe down like this. We're gonna put him down. You're gonna roll him over. And then if they weren't able to do it correctly, then
Oh, hold on.
You're
hold
out.
on. We got.
you're out.
Hey. We're live on the Fit Family podcast, and Jen's in a towel. We have an HR question for you.
We have an-
Okay, so if you have on the job description of a specific job that it's required to lift 50 pounds, and you bring in an applicant and you have a 50-pound bag on the floor, and you say lift that, and they can't lift it, can you not hire them without facing discrimination charges?
I feel like that's a technicality that bullying will argue the shit out of.
But who would win the court case? The company would. Because you have it in the job description. You have it in the job description. And you have the performance test right in front of them, and they can't perform it. You can choose not to hire them. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
'Kay.
Nobody will do that. Nobody.
All right.
Nobody does that. The fire department, the police department do. Nobody else. Nobody. Maybe EMTs.
In terms of like, what are we? Let me call you back.
Okay.
The people at home that are hiring people for Home Depot are not doing that.
I love you. Bye. So, there you
the
go.
people that are hiring for Walmart.
No, they don't. They don't. But
they're not going
but
to
that's
do
a
that.
huge loophole. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want to win a fat fucking lawsuit, you go to somewhere that says the job requirement requires you to lift 50 pounds. And then what you do is you go to the job interview, you get hired, and then you lift 50 pounds and hurt yourself. Money in the bank. All you have to do is say they required it, but they didn't test it. Mic drop.
Don't do that.
That's not a good game plan. Well,
Go
it
to
is
the gym, get healthy, be able to lift healthy.
be able to
pounds,
lift 50
and
pounds.
Be a better-
50 pounds is actually a lot to lift.
Really, the point in this whole podcast was.
Do we have a point in this whole podcast?
Yeah,
What is this?
The point. The point was that when you're drinking, you need to still count
Inhibitions.
You still count your calories.
Still count your calories and prepare
Oh.
for it. I'm not
Oh,
talking
wine
into the
spray.
mic at
You can get
all.
your own spray.
Okay, what I was saying was that you prepare yourself for the calories that you're going to be drinking.
Oh, well, I'm glad you had a shirt on. We got your opinion. We don't need you anymore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're FaceTiming in Jeanette. What's your question, love? Do you have pants on?
Basis of this question.
The basis is whether or not somebody can lift 50 pounds. And if they can't, whether or not it's discrimination to not or to hire them.
I mean, it's kind of like where we talk.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we're talking about. It's a generalized question. No, it
It's a
doesn't.
requirement of the job. It's a manual labor job, and you're required to be able to lift 50 pounds if you work at Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart.
And if you can't, is it discrimination to not hire you?
No.
Exactly, because it's in the requirements of the job, correct?
But they were going deeper than that.
So here's the basis of how I would figure this is we have H2A workers, and in order to have H2A workers, in order to bring contract workers from another country here to fill jobs that are not being, you hear Jackson singing in the shower. In order to fill jobs that U.S. citizens have not filled, we have to be able to say that there are no eligible people here to fulfill those jobs. So we have to create very specific job descriptions. And if people, number one, if they bring people that don't fit those, and one of the things in there is being able to lift 50 pounds or being able to bend and lift at an angle or whatever the generic requirements are. We do have those in there. If we have a H2A worker that comes here and can do that, and we have a U.S. worker that applies, and we challenge whether we can hire them or not, because if they apply, we have to hire them because of our H2A contract.
Even if
we
they
were to
wouldn't
put something
qualify.
in front of them and say, lift that, this is what is required. I think our pair sacks hold like 60 pounds, so that's what our requirement is. We can validly say they cannot lift this. They cannot, as a U.S. citizen who has applied for this job, they cannot fulfill
the job duties.
one or more of the requirements in our contract.
So you
So
don't
no,
have
it's
to
not
hire them.
discrimination.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
But in your interview, do you actually have them lift that amount of weight?
Majority of the time, no.
Usually it doesn't happen like immediately, but if we're working on the job, we can easily say you can't fulfill the job. I don't think
It's
I've
a
ever
fallback.
been in a situation.
Okay. So you're able to let them go without any consequence because they
Not fulfilling the
Gotcha.
job description.
Okay.
Makes
Okay.
sense now.
I love you. Thank you for your information. I will call you in a little bit. Just that's what I
There
said.
we go. All right.
I called it. I
Clear it
said,
up.
yeah. So if you have in your job description, you're required to lift 50 pounds. Majority of the time, people don't test that. So if you go to Walmart and you get hired and it says in the job description, must lift 50 pounds, they don't test you at your interview, you get hired and you go in there and you lift 50 pounds and you get hurt, you can sue the shit out of them because you can say that they did not test the job requirements before they put you in the job, and all of a sudden they're at fault.
But don't do that.
But don't do
Be
that.
better, people. 50
Just-
pounds.
just be
Come
able to
on,
lift
be
50 pounds.
better.
50 pounds. Get off your phone. What are you doing?
I'm actually looking at my job description to see
If you have to lift 50
yeah.
pounds,
Yeah.
you probably don't. What age group do you work with?
K through 5, and we're not allowed to touch them.
Yeah, I bet it's not in there. I bet it's not.
But I do lift books and cabinets and stuff
None of
like
those
that.
are 50 pounds.
I bet it's 20 pounds.
Might say 20 pounds, but I doubt it.
I have
Don't,
had
look,
this.
I'm curious. Don't stop
There's-
looking.
There's some ladies that work with you that
There's some ladies that are 50 pounds.
no, they're 3.
Ladies, if you're trying to get fit, hit up Casey. Dark Fitness.
Anybody who is looking to get fit. Anybody who is tired of going up and down. With,
Well, I want to
Honestly, it's like an energy
Okay.
level every day. If you
Let me-
wake up and you're tired, there's a problem. There's a problem.
Let me make a point because we're sitting here and we're drinking and we're doing a podcast. Okay, so my point
Queso.
is that
Should we get some queso?
queso's always good.
But it's not good
But
for
my
you.
point is that we can still do this and be in a calorie deficit or still be healthy and still stay on our fitness journey and every once in a while have a drink or 2 or 3 or, you know,
5.
however many whiskeys you guys
Are you
have had.
counting drinks or bottles of whiskey?
I know, right? Ounces, remember?
Oh,
going
yeah,
by
we're by
ounces.
There you go.
ounces.
Do the calculation.
That's actually really interesting, though.
It is.
Anyway,
It is really interesting.
spit facts.
No, that's basically it.
We can
I-
because
I-
we're all pretty. I don't like count my calories, but I'm aware of what I put into my body daily, and I like keep it low. I probably intermittent fast where I don't really eat till lunch, and then I eat something light for dinner, and then I, have a drink.
Right.
And
I'm just aware that 4th of July is
That's B.
coming up, and it's well, you're
Yeah,
coming
we're
too.
having a little bit of a block party thing.
Oh, the Bloom Park is lame. It's very common that people are gonna go to a barbecue. There may be alcoholic beverages. We're all adults, and we may partake, we may not. It's really up to you. But if I could leave everybody with everything is just like when you plan a vacation, just like when you plan a night out. You're planning everything, and so if there's a night where you're planning on having a couple beverages like 4th of July or like we've done tonight, we're aware of those calories. We're counting those calories. We're tracking those calories. We're aware of how these things are affecting
They're already in
our
here.
body. Yeah, they're already in there. I promise you. And we're making sure that fits within our caloric budget, and we're aware of the effects that it's going to have. We're aware of what we're going to need to do to recover. And we're also clear that because of the metabolic chaos, that this is not something that is going to happen every single night. So
I'm still doing the same thing, trying to figure out. But I don't think
So-
I have my handbook on here. I think I have to find
Oh,
it
you're
somewhere
looking
else.
for your weightlifting requirements.
Exactly. I'm looking for my weightlifting.
So definitely
requirements.
wanted to share some knowledge, not only about metabolic chaos and the effects of alcohol and how it affects food choices and how we metabolize it and all of that, but also wanted to look at how some other recent stuff that I've looked at in terms of weight loss and fat loss research that's been just mind blowing. Wanted to share with you.
What is one of those things? Are you putting on your?
Shivering. We
Oh,
talked about the
shivering. We already talked
shivering.
about
We
that.
talked
Well, it
about the
sounded like you
shivering.
were like throwing up another one.
I
You're
mean-
throwing up
I
the same
mean,
one we
I-
already talked
I
about.
can. Sugar cravings. Everybody has sugar cravings, right?
Ooh, like
or some
craving
people.
the cheddar chips that are in my closet.
Sugar, or the dude that came over to your house earlier that you were working with and brought a whole bag of M&Ms.
All
sugar
kinds
craving.
of candy.
What?
So having enough,
All kinds of candy.
I love candy.
having enough fat in your diet, and having enough fatty acids, specifically like your krill oil or your omega-3.
What is that?
Just your not too highly saturated, like fat.
Well, you said krill oil. What is that?
Krill oil is like omega-3 fish oil, but it's a different kind.
This is
Supposed
like
to be better for
oils.
you, yeah. And I won't get into all that, but
Question:
but-
if you drink a lot of what's at the top here, whiskey, do your oils go down?
I don't know.
Ooh,
something to come But fat.
Let's Google that.
Let's talk about fat.
Can we
Let's
talk
diet
about
and fat.
Anna's water bottle getting knocked over by her microphone while she
Let's do
sits
that.
there on her fucking phone?
Look. I'm in my
No, I believe you, but it's
I'm in my handbook.
So, fat, dietary fat especially, and fat that you're getting from fish,
fat.
from lean meat
Squid?
that's grass fed, maybe squid.
I like squid.
That fat in good amounts in your body is going to help you from having those sugar cravings.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So if you have a high fat content, you don't want candy or ice cream? Ice cream is my weakness. I
So-
love ice cream.
But a true craving, so there's a difference between like a psychological craving and a true craving in your body, right?
Okay.
So a psychological craving is you're at the movie theater
Disagree.
and you're seeing all this candy in front of you, and so you want candy. That's a psychological craving. A true craving is when you have no stimuli of food around.
You're sitting
you.
there with your eyes closed
You're
and
sitting
you
with your
think
eyes
of
closed, and you're like,
Reese's peanut butter
why
cups.
do I want something sweet right now? I'll take anything sweet. I want ice cream. I want Reese's. That's your body, craving some nutrients that it's not getting. And the research has shown that getting glutamine and healthy.
What is glutamine?
Oh God,
I love asking
I
you
don't
questions
have
that
time
I
to
don't.
get into that. I
What do you mean you don't have time?
I don't have all of the right words to get into that because I used to know all
Big
of,
words?
all of the big words and the breakdown for that. I'll have to. That will be our next podcast. We'll get into glutamine.
Ladies and gentlemen, next time on Fit Family Lifestyle, we are going to get into glutamines.
Okay.
Ba, 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 ba.
But it will tell you that if you are getting enough nutritious fat in your diet from, either supplementing
Bacon?
it with
Bacon.
not bacon.
I don't want to hear anything unless it's
Oh
bacon.
well, good luck to you then, my friend. You're gonna. That's why there's a package of. You see that package of.
That's brand new and it's been.
Sour Patch Kids right there.
Yep.
That's why.
That's not bacon.
That's not bacon, but that's what you're using to supplement for.
That has
The
been
fat that-
sitting in my candy drawer for 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and I opened it yesterday.
It's your story. I'll let you tell it.
I just did.
But if you are getting enough natural good fat from fish, from grass-fed beef, from grass-fed pork, lean meats, you are going to have less natural cravings for sugar. Now, I can't account for the cravings that you get because you're watching an ad on the internet or TV about some like sugary food, or you're at the movie theater and it's bombarded in front of you.
Steakhouse.
Right. Well, to be darned. It can't account for
Bald
that.
and Retard. God damn it.
Casey worked at Outback.
I
You
did,
have
I
to
worked
remember
at
that.
Outback.
I don't
for
like
2
it. I
years.
like Texas Roadhouse
I like Texas Roadhouse
better than Outback.
I do too. Oh,
Yeah.
Their steaks
They
are
have
good.
$4.99 Jack and Cokes. That's it.
What?
Yeah. $4.99 Jack and Cokes all day, every day.
That's pretty impressive.
That's my
It's quite a
favorite.
deal.
It's right there by Costco.
Let's not talk about the amazing steaks that they have.
Well, you know what's funny is like one of the first times we got down here. So when I got down here, me and my buddy Rick had driven down from Washington 21 hours. We were awake. We like slept in the passenger seat as good as you can sleep in a snowstorm driving at 3 a.m. But we got down here. We kind of got everything kind of settled at the like Airbnb that we had, and then we were like, let's go get food. And we went down to the Texas Roadhouse right there by Costco, and we got bomb ass steaks, right? And we were both drinking $4.99 Jack and Cokes. We had like 4 or 5 of them. Got toasted, blah blah blah. And then Jen and Jackson get down here, right? 2 weeks later, and we go down there to get steaks, and guess what? They had no steaks.
What?
The only steaks they had were like they had a sirloin.
A steakhouse with no steaks?
Yeah, they were like, we're sold out of that.
Are
We
you
don't have any
kidding me?
ribeye. We don't have any New York steaks. We don't have any tri-tips. They're like, basically, we have sirloins and we have French fries.
What?
Yeah.
Whoever's running that restaurant failed.
So anytime
Miserably.
we talk about, so that
Miserably.
was the first time Jen had ever gone to a Texas Roadhouse, and ever since then, it's like in her brain, I don't want to go there because they don't have steaks.
I've gotten some great steaks from there. Like anytime
Oh, I love their
really
steaks.
good.
The way they season them, they're not $4.99 Jack and Cokes come at me all day, and then like the garlic mashed potatoes, all of it's good. But the like one time that was the first time Jen had eaten anywhere here, they had no steaks, sirloins or
So
mashed potatoes.
she's out. She's
She's
done.
like,
One and
I don't
done,
want to go
like,
there.
Screw this place.
It's like, you want to go to the steakhouse? No, I don't want to go there.
Did you
It's the
find
first
anything?
reaction
It looks like there's no weight requirement.
for your job. That
Um,
doesn't surprise
as-
me. It's a school thing.
You have to be able to look the
But
laptop.
anytime that I've been,
Go to like Indeed and look up jobs in our area. I bet you like 65% of them have that in there.
oh, I'm sure.
And I bet you 0 of them test it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Are you getting tired? You ready to be done?
We can be done.
I'm talking to Mr. Fit here. You done?
I think we can wrap it up.
You ready to be done?
I think we wrap it up.
Well,
I think we dropped
you
it
got
down.
you got one more glass of whiskey. Are there any final thoughts that you want to share? You said you had like a bunch of topics you were thinking about. Did we hit all of them?
I think we did. I think we talked about the effects of alcohol. I think we talked about
Alcohol was the key one because we're
No.
drinking it.
that was the key one.
Yeah. What about woes? We didn't drink about any woes.
about it.
We didn't drink about
We
any
talked about
woes.
the woes of the labor department and their failures.
Wait, hold
really
on.
testing
No,
people.
before we end, let's talk about like the effects of working out and depression.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
That's a
So,
big topic.
It's huge.
It's
And
huge.
honestly, when I started working out, I noticed a huge
So question,
Um,
hold on, let me pause you right there.
yes.
Did you have depression before you started working out?
Okay, so I'm gonna get real with you. I'm bipolar and I'm medicated, but I have
Is your
sometimes where my medication isn't balanced or whatever. Right now
Question.
I'm balanced.
I'm going to pause you again.
Yeah.
Is it like what kind of medication is it? Is it pot or is it like a pharmaceutical?
actually-
Pharmaceutical.
It's a pharmaceutical. So
Yeah.
it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a thick medication.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay.
So, I've suffered from depression almost my whole life, and when I say that I'm bipolar, I am more depressive than
Man.
manic.
Which means
Mania is the high.
yeah, let her
depression
explain
is
it.
the-
Shut up.
Mania
shut up,
is
shut up,
you're
shut up.
super high on adrenaline, and you go and you do impulsive things, and you spend a lot of money and stuff like that. I'm not like that. My manicness is in my depression. Like when I get depressed, I spiral.
Down?
Yeah, down bad.
So you like internalize kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I've noticed that since working out, that's something that that's time that my mind is blank and focused on something else, but also I'm just feeling better about myself.
Okay, I'm going to pause you again.
Yeah.
Let's start at when you wake up in the morning, and if you're feeling like your depression
shit.
is weighing down on you, how do you motivate to get through your rings?
Okay, so it's kind of stupid, but I put on workout clothes.
Just that it's as simple as you
I
put on
workout
clothes that
and then
make
I'm like,
you feel.
I have to fucking work out because I have workout clothes on. Excuse my language, but I'm in workout clothes, so now I'm working.
Where are your
out.
workout clothes from?
Oh, I get them from.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't plug it. But so you're like sure you wake up. You wake up. You're like feeling shitty, which is pretty common, and then you're like, I need something to make me change the chemical balance in my brain. And
so
for
let me be
you,
honest. First it's coffee.
That's caffeine.
Yeah, I have to have.
You jack
coffee.
yourself up.
Well, not even for that reason. It's just I love coffee, and in the morning I just need my coffee, and it's not to.
That's a
get
caffeine
jacked
addiction.
Up, but
That's a caffeine addiction. It is.
I don't drink any soda or anything like
Question.
that. I only drink coffee.
Do you ever drink the like pre-workout stuff to do that instead of caffeine?
I don't usually. No.
Why not? Because it's essentially the same thing, right?
I get jittery with pre-workout.
More caffeine. She gets really jittery with more caffeine. And one of the things
no,
we
caffeine.
should actually compare it because
caffeine versus pre-workout.
Caffeine.
More caffeine in pre-workout.
Oh, there is.
Are you sure? Because there's a lot of
100%.
caffeine in coffee.
100% sure there's more in pre-workout.
That's like primarily what it is, right?
But something you said is sticking with me is you said, you know, you get up in the morning and it's like you're making that choice. That she's at a point where that's not even a cognitive process. It's
habitual.
It's such a disciplined routine now that she doesn't even think about it.
But that's not a majority of people.
Coffee,
I don't
she goes and puts
always.
her workout clothes
But
on.
that's not a
and she
majority
does
of
it.
people.
And
That's
that's
why
what
I'm
I know.
curious.
That's
Because
fine.
when you
And when
started,
I'm working, I'm not.
when you're working, you
When
don't
I'm
do
working,
that.
I'm not. I'm working out in the morning before I go to work. Because
So you don't
sometimes
have
it makes
that.
me more tired. Like I don't know if I'm going to be energized for my workout or if I'm going to be worn out. I'm not going to work out first thing in the morning necessarily, you know, unless I know I'm not going to be able to do it any other time in the day. But guess what? Sometimes I will work out in the very middle of the day, like during my duty-free lunch break. I
At
will work
work?
out then. Yeah,
At
work.
How much time do you have there?
I have 40 minutes, so I use that 30 minutes of the 40 and then that 10 minutes to get myself together.
The thing to me that what throws me off about something like that is when I work out, I guess it depends on the workout you're doing, but when I work out, I like push myself to the max for the extended amount of time for the max amount of time I can. Like it's like so if I'm going to run 5 miles, I sprint 3 of them and then I jog the last 2, but I'm like pushing myself. Same thing with like, arms or deadlifts or whatever you're doing. I don't like the idea of an extended amount of time of light working out. I'd rather like do a shorter amount of time.
I'm doing fucking burpees.
But so that's what I'm saying. Hold on, let me get there. I'm getting there. So if I do if a short amount of time of heavy working out, I sweat like a motherfucker. And then I'm like, I need a shower. I can't do that in the middle of a workout or a work day. I have to be like, I'm going to go take a shower now because I'm
Can I be honest? Sometimes I stink after.
Oh.
It's true. Like sometimes those last couple of classes, like they just have to deal with
you
me
just give zero shits. You're like, I close my rings.
I close my rings.
Okay.
But what?
But it's usually I don't sweat a lot, and that's my thing. If I wear deodorant.
But that's now, right? Which is where you're going.
Right, but bringing it back around and building that habit. How has that ultimately impacted your mental health and just day to day how you feel?
Well, let's start at the like struggle of starting that, right? Like you wake up in the morning, you don't feel good. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to open your eyes. It's bright in your bedroom, but you want it dark and you don't want to get out of bed. What creates the motivation to just make yourself push through that? Is it just a strictly a mental, like, I'm going to make myself better by doing this? And then
I think this is the question for Casey, because he's the one that gets up at 4:30 in the
you
morning.
do get up at stupid. When you told me you get up at 4:30 in the morning and go lift weights, I was like, you're ridiculous.
Yeah,
Anytime before 5 a.m. is stupid. You just should not be awake. Humans are not made.
I get my ass up because I have to go to work and I have to teach children.
I don't wake up.
But
I wake up at 7 now, but I've always woke up at like 5:30 or 6. But that's why I said anytime before 4 a.m. is just stupid. And you said you're like, I'm awake at 4:30 fucking at the gym, which means you woke up before 4 a.m. and you were there. What creates like that motivation? Is that just straight up like willpower where you're like, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to push down the bitch that's inside me and go do it?
Yeah. So a couple things.
And it's in his routine, like it's on his
Eventually
calendar.
that's where you get, but initially what creates that?
What creates that is yeah, okay, so I've built a routine out of that, so now it's not.
It's habitual.
It's habitual, but there was, and for the guys that I work with, I do call it your bitch voice. Like
It's a bitch voice.
You have this voice in your head saying like, "Oh man, we're tired.
I don't need to today.
We don't need to. We could just.
I can do it
stay in bed."
tomorrow.
Right.
And you have to
Sleep
fight
in.
that voice, and one of the
You just
things-
tell that voice no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what I want to accomplish, and I know that me doing this is how I do one thing is how I do everything. And if I don't do this right, if I don't make this happen, then how is that going to bleed into everything else that I'm doing? How is that going to bleed into me scaling my business? How is that going to bleed into me being the best dad and the best husband? How is that going to bleed into me, winning this tournament that I'm training for? How is that going to just impact my life if I can't even get up and do something that I committed that I'm going to do? Like, I shut that down and I started like, no, the alarm went off. I'm getting up.
You're
I get
rolling out of
myself
bed. You're putting the socks
she's
on.
right. Once you put the shoes on, once you put the gear on, then you're like,
So hold on. Is it
going.
the workout gear? Do you roll out of bed and you put workout? So this is another thing.
I
that
have
throws
it
me
laid
off.
out before
This
I
is
even go to bed.
this is a thing that throws me off. So if I get up in the morning and I plan to run, 2 miles in the morning, do I stay in my like pajamas and run?
No.
Do I have workout clothes that I put on and then shower and put on new clothes? Or do I
Shower.
run? That's the combination of
Listen,
things that I'm like,
the
look,
shower may or may
what's
not
the sequence
happen.
of events? Yeah, okay.
Shower may or may not
After
happen.
running 2.5 miles or 3 miles,
It depends
or
on
you
when
work
get
out
done that
and
day.
you're sweating and you don't put new clothes on, what do you just smell like balls?
I might. It depends on what's getting done today. If it's a busy day and I'm hustling,
That's where I struggle.
I may not get to my shower until later, and I'll apologize to the family.
And
be
then-
like,
and then-
hey, these are the gym clothes.
This
Sorry.
is the truth. At our house, there are a lot of quick rinses.
Yeah.
Ooh, quick rinses.
Yeah, where we, in the bathtub do like a bird bath kind of a deal where you're washing your
Oh, for
whole
your body, not your clothes?
Yeah.
Well,
we'll
yeah, for
change
your
the
body.
clothes.
You
We'll
change
change
the
the clothes.
So you have workout clothes for like a
It's
week?
not like a full on.
No.
No.
But it's not like a full on shower or bath. It's
No,
not
you
quick,
just-
like
Quick
boom,
rinse.
boom, boom, boom. Okay, new clothes. Boom, get to work.
Okay, so let's go back to Anna because we were
Okay.
talking about depression and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, so you start. What time do you wake up?
about 7:30. Usually 7.
When you're working?
Yeah, I don't go to work till 9.
So you wake up at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
What time? You work at 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so 7:30 to 9, that's an hour and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Is my math right there?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you do a workout
I have to
there?
be there at 8:45. Yeah, I do a workout at 12:15.
Okay, so hold on, pause. So 7:30, you wake up. Then what do? You're in pajamas or underwear, whatever you're wearing to sleep. Your
Honestly-
sleepwear. We'll call it sleepwear.
So I usually shower at night, but if I don't, then I'll take a shower.
Okay, so 7:30 you wake up. Then what?
Mhm. If I don't need to shower, then I get ready for work. I have coffee,
Step one
and
is coffee
It's always coffee.
and hair
and hair,
and clothes
clothes,
and teeth
tea,
and makeup.
makeup,
And
go to
leave.
work. Okay, so you
And
do.
oftentimes they're dealing with shenanigans.
So you do all your
children,
workouts.
too.
You do all your workouts in the evening.
or at work.
Or at work, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so you go to work. You don't do anything in the morning.
And sometimes at work, I close my rings just by
Existing.
existing. Yeah, because I'm doing folk dancing.
Okay, but
and
we're
I'm
not talking
doing-
about those. We're talking about
Okay.
days where you make the mental effort to push through like your
Right.
depression or
Yeah.
I just don't want today because I'm a
Yeah.
bitch. And you
Yeah.
make the effort to do those things. So you go to work, you haven't closed any rings. Then what do you
Mhm.
do? After
Then
work.
Then I come home and I usually bitch about it a little bit. I say I haven't closed my rings, and he goes, "Well, you can have a rest day. You've taken, every single day." And I
No.
no, I'm not.
Is
gonna
that
take a
okay?
rest
So that
day.
process right there, what makes you say no? Is it a desire to close the rings? Is it a desire to like meet your own goals? Is it desire to stay consistent? What is it?
Yeah, it's consistency. It's doing something for myself, and also knowing that I accomplished something.
So it's a bunch.
So if I set this goal to do something and I did it, then I accomplished it.
Okay,
Because
Well, if-
going to work, like I had to go to work.
you have to
Like,
do that.
yeah,
That doesn't
exactly.
do
I have to
anything
do that.
for you.
No, it doesn't. But I'm doing something for myself by working out, and even though
It's
It's hard.
a self-assigned goal that you yourself are completing.
absolutely, and because I've completed it mentally, I'm proud of myself.
And how do you
And-
feel when you don't?
When I don't, I feel like shit. I feel like I failed.
You let yourself down.
Yeah. Exactly.
How often
Let
do you
myself down.
not do it?
Not very often.
Yeah.
Like once every 3 months.
Oh, not even.
She'll be like sick
every
as a
6
dog,
months.
and she'll still work out. Like,
I mean, that's like the thing, though. That's the point we're trying to get to is that, like, I think it's like 73% of people in the United States. I don't know what the world percentage is, but 73% of people in the United States deal with depression, be it whatever level. And I feel like the hardest part of working out or making yourself better in general is creating a space in your mind that allows you to want to be better.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are just like, I'm content with where I'm at. I've hit this benchmark or whatever, and I want to be here, or I don't have the energy to do this. I don't have the drive to do this. And that in itself is depression. But there's like a thing that's pushing through that's like the conquering of your own depression, where you're like, I have this goal and I'm going to hit it every day, no matter what fucking happens. If my kid's in a car accident, if my husband worked out at 4:30 this morning, if I woke up and all I had time for was to put my face and my hair on, at the end of the day, I'm still going to hit my goal no matter what happens.
And sometimes it's at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what time it is. It's the idea of I have a barrier, and it's not something I've created. It's just something that my brain's chemistry, which is depression, has created. I'm going to mentally put a goal on the other side of it and push
Something to
through
complete.
that,
Mhm.
and I'm going to hit that goal.
Yeah, if
And
you
that's-
complete one thing, I mean, sometimes with depression, it's just getting out of bed is an
The hardest
accomplishment,
part.
right? Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. So if you're putting something else on your plate that you're able to accomplish,
It's huge.
It's huge,
Yeah.
and it's huge for that depression because you're building yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk
And
about
it's
the other
for
side of
you,
the
it's
coin
not for
where
anybody
you don't
else.
have that. You're just like, it's 4:30 a.m. I'm going to get up and I'm going to kick ass. What's the difference?
You talked about contentment for me, I don't ever want to be content. I don't strive for contentment. If I start feeling content, something's wrong. I always want to be striving for more.
You want to push forward.
I want to push forward. I want to be the best that I can be for my family, for me, for my business, for my future, for everything. And if I'm, I think there's
like drive. It's drive.
Yeah, there's so many people in this world that are just like, oh, well, I'm good with this. It's like things are mediocre, but they're good, so I'll settle.
Yeah.
And I say, fuck that. I want more. I want to be better. I want to be like, I'm turning 43 and I'm going to be competing again. I'm doing another jiu-jitsu tournament because I'm not content with just accepting that, yeah, I broke my leg and then I got back in shape. No, I want to prove to myself like I can get back on the mats and I can win. I can defeat somebody who's
I wonder how you bridge
half my
that gap.
age.
You know what I mean? Like I wonder how you go from eventually you just have to like build a mental dexterity, but like somebody that has depression that doesn't have that drive. There's like a number of people that don't have that versus people that do. How do you take somebody
and
that
that's where
doesn't
comes in?
Yeah, and that's kind of part of it is,
The coaching. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, I think anybody can tap into that.
Yeah.
Anybody can.
Having
But it's
someone
hard.
to
It's
support
hard.
you.
That's hard.
It is
Having
hard.
a cheerleader, you
Yeah.
know, having someone that just is there.
Or somebody that
saying,
calls you out. They're like,
Right.
Yeah.
did you close those rings today? No, I had this and this. I didn't want to get out of bed. I ate 3 bags of chips, and then I worked 8 hours. Blah blah blah. It doesn't fucking matter.
Well, and
What it comes down to is it doesn't matter.
And we have a
It's
society
excuses.
today that perpetuates that kind
Yeah.
of mentality.
Yeah,
That wants you to be
it's facilitating to
docile
weakness.
and weakness and,
Yeah.
and not have that drive. And I hate to say it, but it's true.
It is.
We live
It's-
in a world that perpetuates convenience and laziness and
Yeah.
and mediocrity.
Yeah.
And everybody is capable of more, but when you've been inundated with this,
But why?
this life-
Why? When you're just like you're filling the gaps, like you don't have to.
right? you
Because
don't
it's
have to.
acknowledged
But you
that
should want to.
mediocrity is accepted.
But when you get down to your biology, it's not accepted.
It's not because you do want
because in our ancestral past, mediocrity meant death. If you were mediocre, if you were just kind of run of the mill, you didn't survive. But now we live in this safe world where we're, as Michael was saying last
You can
week,
go to
we're
Walmart.
so far away from the survival scenario that you can live a mediocre life and mediocre life, a life of mediocrity, and survive, and you're fine.
Yeah.
That might not always be the case, but
What'd you guys call
Isn't
it?
it mediocrity?
mediocrity,
mediocrity.
whatever.
I don't know.
Same thing. Mediocrity.
We're not talking about knowledge
we'll
here.
ask Siri
We're talking
later.
about testosterone, bitch.
But for me,
I don't have any of that.
but for
Yeah.
me, there's this acknowledgement that our
Maybe you should.
biology, our biology is designed for something better, for something different, and who knows where the world's gonna go? There may be a time where you're required to be something better, stronger.
But going back
But
to
that's
that
not true.
motivation,
That's not
if
true.
you
Yeah,
have
it's-
one thing. Okay, I have one thing now. Okay, this working out. That's my one thing.
But it's not even working out. It's not the physical act of working out. That's not what drives you.
No, but
If you
it's-
think
it's
about it, that's not what
no,
drives
but what
you.
I'm saying is that's my one thing right now.
That's what you're focused on.
Yeah.
But
that's
what
my
is the
focus
what is the
of
point of working out?
completing it
Yes.
to feel better about myself.
So it's the completion of an act. It's not necessarily the work. You're not waking up like I'm going to work out today. You're waking up like I have a goal of completing this exercise to better myself because you want to complete the goal itself, not necessarily because you want to work out. You could say I want to run 20 miles. The point is not to run the 20 miles, it's to complete that goal.
Yeah.
You could say I want
Exactly.
to do 50 jumping jacks. You're not trying to do 50 jumping jacks. You're trying to complete the goal of doing the
Absolutely. And that's where I was going with that. If you can do those 50 jumping jacks, then you can do 20 push-ups too.
It's a mental thing.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a total mental thing. So by me improving or lessening, I guess you would say, my depression through completing a goal.
Do you feel like
I'm
it's
able-
lessening
I
or
feel-
it's conquering?
Well, I feel like I'm more able to
Control?
complete more goals and build myself up more and conquer that depression.
It's just the best way too, because not only is there a physiological response, not only are you releasing these endorphins and these chemicals in your body that are giving you those dopamine and serotonin rewards that you're getting that are hitting those reward centers in the brain, but you look hot. You get in good shape and you look good and you feel good when you look in the mirror, and
Which in itself
that is so
a-
driving.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so motivating.
Well, and you
for
get
your
compliments
self-esteem.
and you get recognized. Like, man, have you been working out? Like,
Which
you
is
look good."
also a
Mhm.
like pushback on depression.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's a huge boost.
Hard to feel bad when everyone's telling you how good you look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
feel
how
like
young you look.
depression
young
is
you look.
like everybody talks about depression or
lung.
anxiety and blah
Lung.
blah blah, and it's like the most diagnosed probably like condition in this day and age, and it's like 95% of both of those are mentality. Like depression is a mentality, and like I understand there's like
It
a
is.
there's
but
a chemical-
imbalance
yes,
too.
there's
and
a chemical
I have
imbalance,
hereditary.
but you can also mentally push past that. Like
you can
it's
and you can't. I mean,
it's
like
it
I said,
depends
I'm
on the person
medicated
and it depends on the
because-
situation, but
Yeah.
it's largely mental. There
I
is.
sometimes wonder if I could possibly wean off of my medication now that I'm in
Do
the
you
place
take
that I
like
am.
daily medication
I
for
do.
depression? Does
Yes.
it? Have you noticed? Well, have you? Okay, hold on. Let me think about how to phrase that. Have you taken it before you were like working out every day?
Yes.
Have you taken it or not taken it after you've worked out every day?
No, but I've
it's changed.
changed medication.
And what-
Reduced.
Yeah,
You've
and
reduced-
I've reduced the dosage
And it's
significantly.
noticeable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In what way?
Um.
So we're gonna go back to waking up in the morning.
Okay.
You wake up in the morning on medication with no working out versus lighter medication while working out.
Okay.
What's the difference?
It's harder to get out of bed.
Which way?
without working out, without
Okay.
knowing that I have a goal to complete that day, that is gonna make me feel better. So I wake
Mm.
up with the mentality of sometime today I'm gonna work out and I'm gonna feel better about myself because I did.
So it's an immediate positive reinforcement in your brain.
Yes.
And that's got to be measurable, like chemically, which
it has to be.
I don't know how,
Dopamine.
but yeah, it probably is dopamine. But there's, I mean,
Dopamine,
there's
epinephrine.
probably a level there that can be measured in I'm medicated and waking up with no goal versus I'm medicated and I'm waking up with a goal that I know I'm going to achieve.
Yeah.
That has to be more positive, and
100%.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's got to be huge.
And there's the win-win of like, it's our anniversary and I still want to get a workout in, and I know she's going to want to work out. So like
Doing
even
it
though-
together.
Even though it's our anniversary, like, hey, we're going to go to the gym today. And that's how we started our day together, because we spent, the whole day together for our anniversary.
Monday.
But that's how we started it. And I knew that like I felt good because like I didn't want to miss a day. I know that she felt good because she got in a good workout, and it just kind of like
So it's like a building factor if you have somebody that supports you on top of that.
100%. You're 100%.
The next day,
more
my inner
successful.
thighs were on fire, but
Well, that's the third workout we don't need to talk about. You did yours, you guys did
Well,
yours
there's that
together, and
too.
then you did yours together. But
absolutely, of course,
yeah,
twice.
it'd be really interesting to like the one of the things that like interests me the most about like the neural net. Have you guys like? I mean, it's like Elon's thing, but
Yeah.
the amount of data recording that it does as far as like physical and not analogy but physical body chemistry recording that it does is extremely interesting, because you can take a depression medicine and measure it, but you can't really.
Right.
You can only do so much, because you're not taking like minute to minute brain samples, right, that are measuring the amounts of dopamine or
they're just
all this stuff
acting
that,
on the receptors.
yes,
how much they allow to release or how much they block.
Whereas like the neuronet that they're talking about putting into people's brain measures every single second of every single level in your brain. And like one of the like hugest benefits of that is so interesting to me is measuring the amount of, or the levels of brain chemistry that create depression, because I'm not depressed. I don't have depression. I don't understand it. It just mentally does not compute for me because I don't have it. But being able to numerically measure it is
well, I think we also have to be very clear about how we define depression, and let's look at the actual word to depress something.
Yeah.
It's depressing an emotion of like happiness or joy, and not being able to, despite trying, experience that emotion. And that it really comes down to a chemical thing.
Yeah.
But that has been twisted
to
anytime.
Same thing as anxiety.
I'm not getting what I want, so I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And it's been really twisted and manipulated to be something that it's really not at its core level. And even the diagnostic criteria of depression has gotten ridiculous.
But you see the same thing in like anxiety and ADHD and
those things wouldn't fly
PTSD
20 years ago.
No. It's because it's so broad that you can call somebody that wakes up and doesn't feel good depressed.
Right.
We all do that every day.
Well,
but that doesn't mean you don't have...
And sometimes you shouldn't wake up and feel good. If you haven't done anything with your life, if you've been a piece of crap, if you've been laying on the couch, if you haven't accomplished anything, if you're not taking care of your kids, if you just woke up late, you should be depressed, and that should motivate you to get up and activate and do something.
Yeah.
Like there's a purpose for that.
Yeah.
But now we give an excuse for that.
Yeah.
And that's
But there's like a
fine
balance of that. There's a fine balance of that, because there's like a difference between I didn't get enough sleep last night because I consumed alcohol and it fucked with my drinking or my sleep, versus I slept 12 hours and I just don't want to get out of bed.
Right.
And that's like, that's the hardest. Yeah. That's depression.
That's real depression.
Yeah. That's where
there's no real reason for me, not to activate. I just can't. Like there's no.
I don't want to. I can't. I don't.
It's really not there.
Contemplating calling into work. Just not wanting to exist.
Yeah. And there's a difference between that because you're feeling, or because your brain chemical balance is off, versus I'm hungover and I just don't want to go to work.
Right.
And
there's a big
difference.
I did that for fucking 5 years. I just woke up every morning. I didn't want to go to work. But at the same time, you kind of learn to conquer that, because I have to get up and I have to go to work, and it doesn't matter how I feel about it. My bills have to be paid.
Right.
And
And
I don't know.
Yeah,
and I don't know the difference between that versus like an actual depression, or like a diagnosed depression where my brain chemical balance, even if I get up and go to work, I still feel like shit and like I shouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. I've never experienced that. Once I get over the like swinging my legs off the bed and I'm out of bed, it's done.
And the same thing happens for working out. I don't know one person, unless they got injured at the gym or something, that has gone to work out and then afterwards gone, yeah, I really shouldn't.
I regret that.
Not one.
I did that the other day though, when I read the fucking
yesterday.
Yeah. No, but bullshit, because you called me.
Yeah, I was still like, oof.
Like, you were like, yeah, I'm sore, but like you still were excited to tell me about it.
Yeah, it's like I still hit the. I can't, honestly. What's his name? What's the dude?
Michael Sartain?
No, the guy that runs all the time. He's like, conquer your inner bitch.
Yeah, it'll come to me.
yeah.
It'll come to the guy that runs.
Yeah,
tons
he
of-
runs so much.
Oh crap! What's his name? Oh, it'll come to me.
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
Forrest
Anyway,
Gump?
no, you'll know who it is.
He's
He's like an MMA guy. He's not
No.
MMA. He's an ex special forces
yeah, he's
guy.
ex special forces.
Rogan talks about him.
Yeah,
He's really
he was
good.
on Rogan.
Yeah. But that's what I think about where I'm like, I got to a point where I was just ready to be done. That's where I would usually be done. And I was just like, I don't have to be done. I'm just telling myself I can be done. I'm going to make myself go further. And I could have said 4 miles. I could have said 4.5 miles. I could have stopped at 4.25 miles. I was like, no, I want to go to 5 miles. That's where I'm going. And once I like made the decision to do it, it was done. I was doing it.
Exactly.
And anything before that was me just being a bitch. And that's what he says all the time. He's like, conquer your inner bitch. He says inner demons. He says inner bitch too, but it's like the only excuse is yourself at that point. Get over it. Do what you have set yourself to do and just get it done.
And what I'll add to that is I'll say to be realistic and find a threshold, because humans weren't meant to run marathons.
No, we're not runners.
Yeah,
we're not made to be
we're
runners.
We're not. And
No,
if you decide to go take that approach, you're likely going to have some joint problems. We weren't meant to climb Mount Everest.
It's bugging me that I can't think of his
Yeah,
name.
me too. It's me too. You gotta look it up.
As soon as I look up Instagram, it's...
But the point that we're looking at here is that there's a threshold, and you have to push just a little past that threshold.
You just have to push
You
yourself.
got to get outside of that comfort zone just a little bit, and then your comfort zone moves. And then the next time, you go just a little bit further past that, and then
Yep.
it moves. It's the same thing with stretching.
It's like me and lifting.
If you want to get more flexible, let's say you're trying to learn how to do the splits, you want to go to that place where it's really uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. And then go just a little bit further past that.
You make yourself go further.
Right. But not so much that you rip your groin muscle, right? But just a little bit further. And then the next time you find that threshold and you go a little bit further and a little bit further. And that's what you need to do with so many things in life. But when you make the foundation of your life fitness, and you do that with exercise,
It becomes a
that
habit.
that becomes a habit, but it becomes a lifestyle, and it bleeds into so many other parts of your life where you're like, I lifted 210 on the bench the other day. This is nothing. And I found that through martial arts. Like when I had to,
Wrestle a man to the ground with your
well,
butt.
when I had to, for my brown belt test, I had to, fight like 4 people at a time, and they were.
Were they all Jackie Chan?
No, but they were very.
If they were
large.
not Jackie Chan,
They
didn't
were-
count.
They were 100 pounds at least bigger than me and higher ranking than me, and they were like looking to hurt me.
What is that guy's
And-
fucking name?
And what, Bolo Young? Oh no, the other guy, the guy that was on Rogan. I can't think of it either. And I saw an article. Anyways, like those experiences of doing martial arts, like when I'm facing other challenges in life, they pale in comparison. Like I've had 4 grown men try to seriously injure me, throw punches at full force directly at my face, try to choke me out.
What are their
Um,
names?
I'm, and now I have a project at work that I have to do that's stressing me out. Come on.
What's that? Fuck, what is his name, dude? It's bugging me. I can't think
Goggins.
Goggins. David Goggins.
Got it.
Conquer your inner bitch. There you go.
That's right. David Goggins.
David Goggins. Yeah. Dude, he's crazy. Dude, he's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just always like, I was walking the other day, and then my inner bitch came out and told me to stop. And I said, fuck you! And I slapped him, and I put my cock in his mouth, and I kept walking. Stay hard. That's what he does, dude. It's crazy. But that's like real life. It's like, it's all mental, especially when you're running. Running is like, it's 100% mental, because not 100%, probably like 95%.
It is. It's a
because
lot mental.
physically your body can do that all day. Your body can do that. And if you can conquer your body's like response to stop because you're not getting enough air, or your limbs or joints are getting tired, then you could run run 10 miles easy.
I've done 2 half marathons.
What's half marathon?
A half marathon is 13.2. Yeah,
Ugh.
13.2 miles.
The most I've ran is 7.
Yeah.
And that's pretty rough.
13.
If you're not prepped.
You get to a point where you hit this zone where
Auto.
you dissociate a little bit, especially if you train like that. And I used to go to Placitas and run the 6 mile loop twice to train for it.
Where was that?
It's
I know where Placitas is, but what's the 6 mile loop?
there's just a place where you can park, and there's a trail where you
Is
can
it
hike.
before
It's-
or after Placitas, the
it's
town?
right before.
So right before it curves left, there's that little pull off.
Yeah.
And there's a trail that goes up
Yeah.
there that's 6 miles.
And it's awesome, but there's like, peaks
Up in
and
the
valleys.
downs,
But
yeah.
I would go do that in the heat of the day, and I would get to a place where I would check out.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even remember.
You're not thinking it.
It's
It's kind of like where you
look
drive
at my watch
and
and
you
I'd be on mile like 7.5. And I remember the music I was hearing or the podcast that I was listening to.
Hold on, let's take it. Let's do a little choosy here. I gave you some clear whiskey. I don't know. Have you tried this stuff yet?
Yeah,
It's different.
it's different. Not sure if I like it.
It's different.
But I'd be on like 7.5 miles.
Yeah, you're just on
I
auto
would,
mode.
and I would literally dissociate. Like, I wouldn't remember.
You're saying left, right, left, right, left.
Not
right.
even that.
Yeah.
It was like almost an out of body experience. And I at that point in my life when I was training for that, like, I really needed that, like, that checkout time. And then that's been something that's been a challenge for me, because since I've broken my leg, I've been able to run a little bit. Like, I can run short distances, but I'm not at a place yet where I can tolerate like a long.
You start feeling the
run.
pain in your whole leg.
Oh, yeah.
So question, what is the difference between, okay, so you wake up one morning and you mentally running a 5 mile marathon, whatever, versus doing a 2-hour workout are two different things. A 2-hour workout does different muscles versus a marathon, but mentally there's still the drive of, like you said, disassociating, where you're just going through the rhythms. What's the difference between that and working out?
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
It's all working out. It was just different. So
yes,
for when I was running.
But running, you get to a point where you disassociate, where you're not thinking about it, you're just going through mechanics.
The one thing with the running that I had a hard time with is I didn't have the body composition that I wanted. Because I was running so much, I wasn't able to keep, a lot of lean muscle mass on, or, muscle mass in general. I got really lean.
But working out, you hit the same kind of barriers where
Right.
you're like, I need to stop. I want to stop. My body wants me to stop.
Right.
I don't have the energy.
So I hit that with lifting now, with weightlifting. Since I can't accomplish that with running.
Is
I
it
hit
similar
that
or is
with-
it different?
It's absolutely similar, because there's that point where whether it's a deadlift, whether it's a bench press, whether it's I'm in a jiu-jitsu match, where like I don't think I can go anymore. And
for me, it was flies. I was like,
you quickly hit that place where
Is that called shivering?
where that voice comes in your head, and
You're just like, stop.
you have to make a
You're
very
done.
quick. Well,
Yeah.
and it's even quicker than running, because with running, like, you can okay.
You start
I
to
can't
feel
do
it. Yeah.
No, I can keep doing this. I stop being a bitch. I can do this.
Like the half a
But
mile.
when you have a bar with weights loaded on it over your fucking head, and you're at that place where you're like, I can't do this anymore, you don't have that opportunity to change your mind a couple
Is that the
minutes.
survival brain you guys were talking
Yes,
about?
Yes, it's right there where you have to like lock it in and go, nope, we're going back up. We're finishing.
Hmm.
Right there. And you put it up and then you go, oh, I hit that PR. Okay, we're good.
So do you?
With my workouts, I do it before. So I say I am working out for 30 minutes at least.
Come hell
No
or high
matter
water.
what.
No matter what.
No matter what.
If
I can be dying.
if there's a tornado and my house is ripped to shreds, my 30 minutes are happening.
If I'm doing burpees for 15 of those
I hate
minutes,
burpees so much.
Me too. I hate them.
Everybody hates burpees.
30 minutes according to this.
Oh yeah. So
this.
this is actually dead right now, which is really sad. But if for some reason I don't actually hit go on my watch or something like that, and it doesn't record that I actually exercised for 30 minutes, then I'll do another.
You'll go
30.
again.
Another one.
Yeah.
Like we
I
weren't
have
kidding
to
about
show
that.
30 minutes.
So that's just straight up. You're like, that's not even like you having a goal. That's you having a marker. And if you don't hit the marker, you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Bitches be crazy.
Bitches be crazy.
But that's your motivation to push through like the depression stuff.
Yeah,
those rings being closed.
It's just a mental
That's a reminder
lock.
for her that I did it.
So for you, without the depression, what is it? Like it's just a drive. It's just your personality. You just want to hit the mark because the difference is she has a hard time getting out of bed. You just want to and get started, right?
Yeah,
Or is it hard for you to swing those legs out of bed and be like, I'm moving?
Sometimes it's hard, but it's just.
I don't think
like
now it is, but there was a starting point for him. You know, where he was overweight and at his lowest. You know, he wasn't depressed because he doesn't.
But it is a form of
depression.
depression.
But it is a form of depression because you're not.
And I feel like when you're the more weight you have on your bones, the more I'm going to say depression, but it's more like a cloud. Down. It's a cloud.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it depression, but when I
it is.
When I couldn't walk upstairs and tuck my kids into bed,
then why get out of bed?
When I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and accept, how I looked, when I was getting winded, just walking on my crutches with my broken leg to try to maybe help her
100% harder.
Put Christmas lights on the Christmas tree in December, and then
also, by the way, you need to trim the fucking landscape in front of your house. We're going to talk about that.
We need tools. That's our problem.
My dad has tools.
What do you need?
Just cutters.
I got cutters, bro.
Okay, we'll borrow them
over.
Okay.
No, we'll take them with us.
But for me, I could have easily been like, oh, it's just so hard. I'm so depressed. But I was like, I looked at myself and I was like, okay, I can walk a little bit now, not 100%, but I don't want to look like this. I've been the best shape in my life before, and now I look like a piece of
sack of potatoes.
Yeah, this is not acceptable, and that was enough motivation for me to say, baby, we got to do something.
Yeah.
This is not acceptable. We're gonna change it.
I'm gonna find a picture of him.
I mean, I've seen him.
Yeah, have you seen him on crutches?
But it's like
Christmas?
It's like this.
I was huge.
There's two mentalities, right? Like there's 5 a.m. hits. One person has depression and has to fight through a cloud to get towards the goal that they've set for themselves versus the other person who just wakes up with the mentality of I'm going to push myself to more than I am now. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And one's not necessarily harder or easier, but they're both struggles. And
this is a picture I just found. This is before working out.
What is that?
That's my wrist.
Why? But yeah, no, I know that's your wrist, but why? What's wrong with it? What'd you do?
I hurt myself.
Oh my God. I understand that that's your wrist and you hurt yourself. What happened?
I was depressed. I felt
it looks like you
was a piece of shit.
Were skateboarding and you fell onto the ground. That's self-inflicted?
It's self-inflicted.
How? What did you do? Did you take
I
a
used
cheese
a
cheese grater?
razor.
And you were just like, what was your mentality at that state?
That I
When
was
hold on.
worthless.
When was that? Was that after your accident?
No,
it was
Way
before.
before.
This was.
But that's your depression in its act.
Yeah.
Depression's a crazy thing. I like have a hard time understanding it because my brain balance is just not that, because I can self-motivate, and I'm lazy sometimes, and I talk myself out of doing things, but I've never like experienced where I just have this darkness hovering over my head and I can't get past it. Get off your phone.
She wants to show you a picture. Of
But
me
you're
doing
looking at the
it.
pictures
That's
too.
that.
Oh, I've seen the pictures. I've seen them.
Yeah, it's crazy when
It's a self-motivation
when you
thing.
get to that part, and there's different iterations of it, and I think it's different for
No, you're thin.
everybody. But
Well, that's why I was curious to compare
Yeah.
somebody that has diagnosed depression versus somebody that is just like, I'm going to get out of bed and kick ass.
yeah,
And it's two different things. And there's a large group of people that struggle with that every single day, where it's like they wake up and they don't even want to swing their legs out of bed. And that's the first move is the hardest one.
yeah.
And that's the hardest part. And that's why I was curious what the motivation to do that was.
Well, and then what's crazy to me is I meet a lot of people who have the exercise part dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
They can get out of bed and they can go exercise every single day. They can go to the gym. They stay,
But they're
active,
eating fucking 16 McChickens every day.
But just
Yeah.
the nutrition piece is they just don't have that dialed in. They can't. They have no idea how many calories they're eating a day. They have no idea how food affects their body, and the food controls them. They don't control food.
So do you think a majority of the time it's the amount of intake you have versus, or do you think it's what you're intaking?
It's more the amount. I mean,
The amount. It's usually the amount. That's what I figured.
If we're gonna look at it, a calorie is a calorie. Okay?
Yeah.
And yes, calories are different and they impact your body different.
I know. I'm trying to find a picture. I'll just
We
get
don't need
off
it.
it.
We don't need it.
Yeah,
We
it
don't
doesn't
need
it.
matter.
But at the end of the day, a calorie is a calorie. And if you're burning more calories than you're eating, you're not gaining weight, you're losing weight.
So you guys, both of you, constantly talk about calorie deficit and your calorie
Intake.
Do you like physically have a app or
Yes.
piece of paper that, well, I know you do, that counts what you're intaking?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We log our calories constantly, and we don't need
Do you
to eat
meal
a
prep?
deficit.
So it's
Sometimes.
called My Net Diary. That's
Net-
the app.
what is it?
My Net Diary.
My Net Diary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people use MyFitnessPal. I think MyFitnessPal is trash. My Net Diary does the same things that app does for free.
Hold on, let's go back to that statement and explain why.
Simply because My Net
The
Diary
features.
is the things that you can do on My Net Diary, or the things that you can do on MyFitnessPal that are really cool, like scan the barcode of something to see how many calories it is. You have to pay for that.
It's a
thing.
feature that you pay
Yeah,
for.
and My
It's
Net
like a
Diary is free.
subscription.
And maybe
It's
someday
free.
My
It's
Net Diary
included
will
in My
charge
Net
for
Diary.
it, but I just like the interface.
It's smoother and
it's
cleaner.
smoother. It gives you this like visual Apple.
Is that what you just looked up all the alcohol
all
stuff
the
on?
alcohol stuff.
So you guys do that? You do that daily?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Every
does it-
single day?
Yeah. So let me ask you this: when you go spend money, when you buy stuff, do you check your bank account
No.
ever?
I'm not probably a good person to
Okay,
use
you're
that.
not a good person.
Yeah.
Most people,
Does
when
your
they
wife-
go
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
stuff,
Does your
they
wife check their
check
bank
the bank
her
account.
No,
They stay on
we
top of it.
have a,
You're good.
yeah.
You suck.
You're
Most
good.
people stay on top of their finances. They know
We have a
what's
list.
going in and what's coming
Yeah.
out. why wouldn't we?
Which,
just
hold
take
on,
them
I'm going
for
to
a
pause you
dose?
right there because that's probably one of our biggest problems is we go to the grocery store with no budget, which is kind of the opposite of what you're saying, where we don't have to even think about what we're buying. We just go through there and we're like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good.
That could cause
And that's a problem.
But
And versus
you
where
could turn that into a positive and
you
get
can,
a lot of healthy
yes,
shit.
but the opposite is where you're like, I'm budgeting, so I'm going to make sure I get this, this, and this, and not this and this. So it like goes back and forth, but that's been a problem before. And Jen has actually said that multiple times where she hates when I go to the grocery store with her because I get so much random shit. But I can get a bunch of random shit and not eat it.
Right.
I'll have like
so you trust
we
yourself with
we
food.
had a thing of those fucking sugar cookies on top of the. I got them because I like them, and Jackson will suck those down.
Mhm.
So I put them on top of the fridge. I ate one of them and forgot they were there, and so they were all sitting up there. And Jen was like, "You got these cookies and made a big deal about it, and forgot they were here." I was like, "I guess, but that's not necessarily a bad thing." But that's like I don't like overindulge.
And you trust yourself with the food.
Yeah,
Right.
I can control my like. It's the same thing. Like if I smoke weed, I'm like, I need to make sure I eat before I do it because then I don't need to eat. Whereas if I don't and then I get stoned, I'm like, well, I'm hungry, but I
You
also
eat the
got the
kitchen.
munchies and I can just eat. And when you're stoned, it like inhibits your ability to measure what you're intaking. So you just eat everything you want. I can eat a whole package of Oreos. I can eat a whole bag of chips, and then I can eat the whole thing of ice cream, and then I can eat a half pound chicken. But if I eat before that, I'm like, well, then I don't need to eat anything. Anything I eat from this point on is just kind of
Right.
indulging, and I can limit myself indulging. So if I want Oreos because they sound good, I can have 3.
Right.
Done. I can have 3 and I don't need to eat any more. I can have a little glass of milk. I can have 3 Oreos. I hit my I'm stoned and I want to eat some Oreos. That sounds good. I'm going to eat 3 of them. Done. I don't need to eat 18 of them. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how I limit myself. So it works out. But I totally get like
Vanilla wafers, the serving size is 17.
what?
Vanilla wafers.
Oh, I hate wafers.
Do you hate
Yeah,
those?
I don't. Oreos are my weakness. Oreos are the perfect.
We had the mint
Indulgence.
Oreos
No,
a couple weeks ago.
I want double stuffed Oreos with milk, and you hold it in the milk for 8.5 seconds.
I'll pass on the milk.
I love, dude. You put this much. It's like a half a cup of milk with like 3 Oreos, and you do 8.5 seconds of each Oreo in the milk. You eat it, and then you slam the last of the milk. Perfect.
You've heard Casey's milk story, right?
Yeah,
So
we
you
talked
can't-
about
yeah,
that.
we
The
talked
the
about
like
that.
goat milk thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So he
yeah,
can't
yeah,
do milk.
No. But it's like the same idea that you have to. I have trained myself to have, which is kind of what you're doing in
That's
general.
great.
Yeah, you create a mental control. Most people don't have that. You
have to
bust
be
out,
taught how to do
bro.
it.
You bust out a bag of those Ruffles cheddar chips at a party. One person will eat all of them.
Yeah.
Every single time. That's the hard one. That bag of chips is the hardest bag of chips I can control myself with
You
because they're
have
so
to
good.
Be taught. how to do
Yes,
it.
you have to
Scan that
mentally.
alcohol.
What alcohol?
One I was drinking.
Oh,
Yeah, you really have to be taught how to do that.
it's a learned thing, and I honestly don't know how I learned that. I make myself mentally aware of it, and that's the key. Is a majority of people don't. They're just like, I'll eat that whole bag of chips, because you're like eating to get full, which you're never gonna do from a bag of Ruffles.
The solution is, well, I just can't buy chips. I don't want to have those in my
Yes.
house. Don't buy them.
That's not what it is, though.
Yeah.
It's your mental restraint of stopping yourself from eating the whole thing. And I have never had that. I can buy whatever I want, but I acknowledge it's like that bag of M&Ms has been sitting there all day. I could eat that whole fucking bag of M&Ms.
Right.
But I had 2 little pincherfuls, and I was like,
Right.
that's all I'm having.
No, come on in. No.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the bag of the Ruffles cheddar chips, that's everybody's weakness. I don't care who you are.
They're good.
That bag of chips, if you stop eating it, you smell like ass.
Have you ever had Munchos?
Munchos? No. What's that?
It's a bag of chips that you end up eating the whole thing of before you even know.
I mentally stop
They're
myself.
salty.
Everybody
So
has
But they're
that.
like this really airy, crispy.
Like
Like
Cheetos kind of
salty
thing.
food. Yeah.
No, not like.
They're a potato chip. for
It's a
sure, but
potato
they're-
chip,
they're
but it's-
different than.
You want
to sit Yeah.
down? Are you tired of standing?
No, I'm good.
You getting
Um,
swole?
Everybody has that one food that like
There's
they
something.
know they're gonna
Yeah.
overeat on, and
Yeah.
for me, it's popcorn. I love
Oh,
popcorn.
I love popcorn.
I'm-
When I
I'm-
went to the movie the other night, I got a large popcorn, but this was like a mental constraint. I ate half of it the whole movie, and then the other half sat out there on the counter until I
There you
like picked
go.
at it for the next
Right.
3
Good
days.
job.
Now popcorn's not terrible.
It's
for
not.
you.
There's not a whole lot
all
to
the
it,
butter and
there's
crap you put
more
in it.
air. You know, you
Yeah.
have higher.
but it's not
calories.
like potato chips
But
or
it's better than the potato chips. The problem with popcorn is the salt.
yeah.
But I feel like you should know what your vice is, and you should give yourself permission to enjoy that from time to time, but budget for it.
You
know,
have to
when
you have to make a mental acknowledgement of it, which is
Exactly.
what most people don't do.
Well, you have to make a mental acknowledgement, but you also have
Or
to
they
budget
give
for it.
themselves
You have-
leeways.
Right. Well, not just a leeway, but I need to know, like, okay, if we're planning on going and seeing a movie in a couple nights, then I know I want to eat popcorn. I'm gonna make sure that I'm eating maybe 200 to 300 less calories over the next couple days, so that I can afford to have that in my budget and still be at where I need to be.
The most interesting thing to me about, we've been friends for a little while and we've talked about your stuff, but the most interesting thing to me about your fitness program is the way you compare calories to like a budget. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do that. It's like
It's so smart.
it's the right way to think about it. You have X amount of dollars or calories, and you can spend them or you can save them. And I don't think I've seen or heard anybody else talk about it that way. And it's a very clever like mental manipulation of how to think about it. Like, this bag of popcorn is $10. That, salad is $2. Which one are you going to eat if you want to eat a Snickers next weekend?
Which is about $40.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a different way to think about it. And a majority, it seems like a majority of like being fit and thinking about what calories your body is burning is mental. It's probably like 95%.
Yeah.
Like 5% of it is actually what you're intaking and outtaking. 95% of it is thinking about what you're intaking and outtaking.
Right.
And that's why
true.
Casey's doing what he's doing. Like, you need that motivation. You need that help. And some people need another person.
Yeah.
And so by actually giving his clients, this is your workout, this is your meal plan, here I am to talk to you about it. Like,
At noon,
How
I'm
is
going
your-
to ask you whether or not you swung your legs out of bed at 9 a.m.
That's right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna
That's
have
needed by some
To,
people.
you're
It's
gonna have to
accountability.
fill out a form that
Yeah.
says,
It's
"Did
like
I
the
track my
IRS.
calories?"
Oh my
Like,
God.
let's be
Yeah.
honest. Let's be honest. None of us would pay taxes if the IRS wasn't there.
Right.
If
You're
they were not
absolutely
there
right.
and they said you need to pay these taxes, I wouldn't pay any of them.
Right.
Not a single one.
But they know
You should think
they're
about
gonna
that for
have to
later.
fill out a form at the end of the week that says, "Did you track your calories? Did you stay in a calorie deficit?" They know that I can see what calories that they know that if
Yeah.
they miss a day of tracking their calories, I'm going to see that 0 and I'm going to say something about it.
He's
Not
going
that
to
I'm
say
being
something, but
mean
he's
about
not
it.
gonna
What do you
be-
like? What kind of stuff do you say? Like, what are you like?
Well, it just
You just
depends.
call out. It's
I
just a
know.
call
Depends
out.
on the person. But
I
hey,
noticed
hey,
you didn't.
what's going on today? I noticed you didn't
You
track
didn't
your
do
calories
this.
today. What's up? Everything okay? And or
And usually, like, they have something going on, and that's
Yeah.
why they didn't, like,
or
oh,
the
man,
other day,
my kid got sick, or
one of my clients had texted me and she said, I don't want to track my lunch. I don't want to log my
I don't wanna
calories.
log
on
it.
log my
Okay.
calories.
And I
from
was
my
like,
lunch.
she's like, it was so bad. It's going to be so over. And I said, no, you have to do it.
You have to do it.
You have to track it.
Because even if it's bad that day, you can compensate
can
for it
make
the
up for
next day.
And
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
you're building a habit. You're
Yeah.
building a pattern of behavior that's going to help you learn how to be in control of
That's
food.
why it's not the actual doing it. It's the mental acknowledgement of doing it
It's
or
both.
not doing
It's
it.
both.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's crazy is like it's the motivation to swing your legs out of bed and just do it. Or when you go to eat a snack, you eat, 5 chips versus the whole bag. Or
I look at the serving sizes now when I didn't before.
yeah. I don't think I've ever looked at like serving sizes, but I like mentally think about it. I'm like, if I'm going to open that bag of M&Ms over there, the serving size that it says on the back is not the whole bag. And
Of
it's not
course
3 handfuls.
Right.
It's probably
I
like
promise you
20.
it's not.
Yeah,
Probably
it's probably
20,
20
yeah.
M&Ms, which
I'm
is,
gonna go look now, 'cause
a
I'm
few
curious.
a few good pinches, and same thing with the I swear to God, the Ruffles bag of cheddar chips is the worst because I could probably sit there and eat that whole.
32 M&Ms.
Ooh, what did I say? 20? 20, yeah. Which is, 3 or 4
20
good
handfuls,
pinches.
yeah.
Pinches, not handfuls, but pinches where you get 5 or 6. The Ruffles bags of chips, I could eat a whole bag of those and not feel shitty at all. But I know that's not
like 3 servings,
yeah,
3 or 4 servings.
that's
right
not
there.
that's not what I'm supposed to put in
More
my
than
body.
Like
So-
that's not a meal. And eating that is gonna rush through you. It's gonna
Yeah.
digest really quickly. It's very highly processed food, and then you're gonna be hungry.
In
not
25
satisfied
minutes.
in 20
Yeah.
When
So
I
should we-
found that if you get the individual little bags
Bags
of
of
chips,
chips. I thought about that, but sometimes I want to eat a little more than that.
Yeah.
Which you can
Well,
do. You
you
can
just gotta
like
balance.
yeah,
for
you
it.
got to think about it. Like Doritos, if I could eat a whole bag of Doritos, but I'm going to acknowledge that I did it and probably not eat dinner, breakfast, or lunch.
Right.
Like,
And this is why I always say what doesn't get measured doesn't get measured.
yeah. It's a good
You've just got to measure it, and anyone who pushes back against that and be like, "Whoa, I don't want to have to do that," and it's like,
but you also don't have to like have a number
right.
on a piece of paper. You can just mentally be aware of it.
Oh, there's days where I don't have to log my calories because
You just think of it.
I know because
You're
I'm
aware of
eating
it.
the same stuff
Yeah,
that I've eaten
yeah.
several days before, and I know how many calories my protein shake is. I know the meal that we're making for that night, how much it is. I know I'm still in a deficit, or I know I'm at my calories, because I've done it for so long that I just know. Just like when sometimes when you go buy something, you're like,
You're like, I didn't really have the money for that.
yeah,
but
that was
I bought it
$5.50.
anyway.
I know how much that was because I bought it before several times. I've
Yeah.
gone through this drive-through.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't even have to look at my
Or
bank
like,
account.
for
I know.
example, I'm not one, but smokers,
Cigarettes.
they know
pack
exactly
of
how much
smokes.
it's going to be
Yeah.
for a pack of smokes, or with
Yeah.
tax
Good
and
analogy.
everything. They know.
Yeah.
I have no idea how much cigarettes are now.
I know. Either I probably guess.
No idea.
But
once
it's the idea that you're mentally aware of it.
right.
It doesn't
Exactly.
matter whether or not you know the exact number and you're calculating it every day, but it's making yourself think about it before you put it in your mouth and
Exactly.
swallow it. And that's
Exactly.
kind of where I'm at is like I don't I don't think I've ever counted like calories, but I'm mentally aware of what I'm putting in my body versus what I'm burning to like exist. And
Well, and you should always be
most of the time,
deliberate.
beer is my weakness. Beer puts me over.
Well, you should always be deliberate about what you're putting in your body. Right?
I'm not.
You should never be just like mindlessly grabbing food and putting it in your face. It should always be a deliberate process. Whether it's I need this amount, I'm being healthy, or if it's I really don't need this, but I want this, and so I'm making the deliberate choice. Love you.
I love you too.
So-
I love you too.
This has been a super awesome stream. I'm so glad that those of you who jumped on, I hope you got some value from it. If you're watching the replay, I hope that you get some value from it.
And I know there's some parts where there's no value from it, but maybe you'll get a laugh.
Yeah. Hey, a laugh is value. That's value for sure. So just want to thank everybody for chiming in. If you are watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay. It just helps the algorithm. And if you're watching the live, even though we only have a few, go ahead and put hashtag live. Helps us out. Who do we have on here? Who's our viewer? And does anyone have any questions?
No one. It doesn't say.
No?
Yeah, we're gonna
No.
wrap it up
All
now.
right. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. Remember, EPN Supplements if you're looking to get if you're looking to get some quality supplements, if you're looking for protein, if you're looking for BCAAs, if you're looking for vegan greens, if you're looking for any kind of nutritional supplements, if you're looking for something that's going to mix well, that's affordable, and it's absolutely delicious, go ahead and hit up EPN Supplements. Go ahead and click the link in the description, 10% off. And then if you want to look amazing while getting fit, go ahead and check out Bfit Amazing, link in the description. Yeah.
Good job. You really didn't plug that very well.
Didn't plug what?
The clothing
The
one.
clothing? Bfit Amazing.
Bfit Amazing.
Bfit Amazing. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been fun. Tune in next time for talking about more fitness things. My name's Austin. This is Casey. That's Anna. And we will see you next time. I can't find the mouse.
Uh-oh.
Adios!